What is up, everybody? Okay, so it's been a minute. Got a hell of a lot of costumes to see now. I think there's like 7 or something. Alrighty, let's see. I think I need more points though to buy them all. Pretty much all the characters that got a costume now I think I have, except for shooting, but and there's a lot of nonsense to talk about today. Like FGO making way less money, and then Reddit saying it's because of the 11 summon, which is like hilarious. That's a thing. Okay, how close am I on any of these ladders here? 150k. So I need about 50k for those other 2 ladders to get more tickets. Okay, let's see here. Yeah, that's the thing. Somebody made a picture showing like the profits of each month and then who happened to be rated up in that month. And in the comments, the overwhelming, like all the things into the upvotes and everything, were people saying the reason their profits are so blatantly going way the fuck down is because they have the 11 summon, which 11 summon instead of the 10 summon. But that's ridiculous. Like that's terrible logic. And first off, correlation does not equal causation a lot of times. And also, there's just so many other things that have happened in that time. And you look at other games that are more generous than DW with like safety nets and giving out free things to players and everything, and they're making more money than FGO. So that's clearly not the problem. That's a terrible mindset. Ideally, if you make like summoning more generous or you added a safety net or what have you, you want to make up the lost money from the few whales by getting more people to spend money that wouldn't spend money otherwise. So here's a quick example, and this is just irrefutable in my opinion. What I'm about to say doesn't apply to everyone, but it applies to enough people that this is why video games try to diversify their revenue streams, but FGO doesn't, and thus they're failing. I care about FGO more than Genshin Impact. Now, I'm not hating on Genshin Impact. I really like it. They're doing a great job. I wish them all the success, and I'll continue to play it, and happily so. But I really like the Fate franchise, and I want FGO to do well. It's not doing well, but I want it to do well, right? But I have spent money on Genshin Impact, where I have spent basically nothing on FGO. And that's because the only thing FGO lets me do is gamble, and I don't gamble. So I don't spend any money on FGO. And that's really all there is to it, where although I haven't spent loads of money on Genshin Impact, I've spent some, because they've got like the $5 subscription thing, where like once a month you give them $5, and then you get way more for your $5 than you normally would, so I do that. And sometimes I buy the battle pass, but not always, because their battle pass kind of sucks, but that's a different matter. So I don't have to gamble to support Genshin Impact, and I still get something really meaningful. I get something, a lot of boom for my buck, right? Where in FGO, although I'm happy to support them, they give me absolutely no option to do so, so I don't give FGO money, I give Genshin money, but I actually like FGO more than Genshin, so it's kind of like, you can see the problem here. Most games now realize you need to go after more than just whales. You need to find a business model that is, fair to players, doesn't make people feel like they're being nickeled and dimed, and then you give people multiple options. There are some people that no matter what you do, they are not going to gamble and spend hundreds to thousands of dollars on the gacha. They're not going to do that, and rightfully so. Some people will, and so it makes sense for them to put systems in place like for Genshin Impact and the Constellation system. So yeah, the normies are happy to get Constellation 1 or 0 or 2, where the whales are obviously going to go for Constellation 6, right? So you still get plenty out of the whales, but then the normies who don't normally gamble, like, oh hey, I can spend 30, 40 bucks and I'll get the safety net that I almost got with my free summons, so I'll just get the other half and there we go. Or hey, I'll just spend the $5 a month because I'll play the game a lot and I get a lot of boom for my buck that way. Or I'll buy the battle pass, right? And then later you're gonna have skins and all that. FGO has none of this. It has none of this, right? All these other games are innovating and moving forward and being successful, and Fate is stuck in the past. FGO is stuck in the past, and there's just simply. Their monetization model is trash. I mean, it's just trash. From both a player perspective and a developer perspective, it's a bad idea. They're not capitalizing on a lot of their player base, because again, I don't mind spending $5-10 on a skin or something. If I like a character, I'm happy to, yeah, I'll spend $5-10 on a cool skin or a subscription thing that gives me a lot of value or what have you, but they don't have any of that. They don't have any of that. It's either gamble and spend a question mark amount of money and get a question mark result, or nothing, or literally nothing. It's that or bust, right? That's terrible. That's a terrible way to go about it. All right, let's check out some costumes here, though. While we blah 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 blah. But it's no. I mean, I've been watching it for a long time. You know, the earnings reports from FGO, and they've been blatantly going down and down and down and down for a long time. And their monetization is a huge part of it. But also, they're just, for a lot of people, I think FGO's run its course, right? Because they're just copy pasting the same formula over and over again. They haven't innovated in an ungodly amount of time. You know, they don't add anything new. There's so many core gameplay mechanics and stuff that are just lacking. You know, there's no challenge tower, boss rush mode, story replay. There's so many things that this game is just completely lacking, and they've never innovated on any of those things. I guess we'll grab, I don't know, Nero's. Although I feel like more people will have Nero than Serenity, apparently, but, so I should buy one that, you know, someone in my chat doesn't have. Yeah, it's basically a 2010 monetization model for a mobile game in 2021. So, am I the only one that feels like this costume would look better? Oh my god, we stopped talking. I'm just gonna wait a minute now. Nero, please. Anyway, does anyone else feel like this costume would look better if, like, it was all orange or it was all green for the most part? You know, aside from, like, you know, the detail, like the black stuff and everything. But, like, the top and bottom thing being two different colors does not really work for me. But, looks kind of odd. Green guitar, though. I can get behind that. Alright, let's do... what? Guess we'll do this one. Good for building points anyway. What am I? Okay, here we go. Couldn't remember if I was summoning a unit or using my own. I already got Nitro Chris's, we'll show that off in a second. Man, she needed an animation update though. I want to see how much they changed the default. Quite a bit in terms of the pose. Well, let's see if they were lazy or not. I'm gonna bring bonus CEs at least. It's default. I'm a little low energy today because, you know, not sleeping properly, but I feel better today than I did yesterday. I'm completely pooped, but yesterday I couldn't formulate sentences properly, so... Like, I was trying to play a game with Tusk, and if I wanted to say take, I would say, like, taken instead, or, you know, just crap like that. It was a mess. And yes, Canis is a 4-star. It's almost impossible to figure out why, other than the fact that Romulus was a 5-star, and they didn't want 2 5-star AoE Lancers at the same time. Okay, the bow on her head looks pretty dumb, I'm not gonna lie. Maybe that's just me. The Empress has no idea what they're talking about, so... But yeah, if you're blaming, like, being a more free-to-play friendly game or giving people more value for their money as why FGO is doing worse, I mean, that's just denial. I mean, that's just denial, because one, FGO doesn't really give players that much boom for their buck anyway. You shouldn't be like, oh yeah, you gotta rip off your players to make any money. That doesn't make any sense. And sure, sometimes games with really scummy business models are actually very successful, but it's just obvious. I mean, you look at Google Trends and the interest in FGO and how it's just dropped and dropped and dropped. You look at other games that are even more generous to their player base and how they're doing better than FGO. That's clearly not the reason. So, does anyone else feel like they should have gone full ham with this costume and just have her use the guitar as the weapon? Because with her being in that pose, but then the guitar just suddenly... Like, here's the thing. We've had a lot of characters in this event where their items are just appearing and disappearing, right? Because DW's lazy fucks, and that's just the way of it. But none of them have been holding something as large and as eye-catching as this guitar, right? This is taking up most of like her, right? Like it's covering most of her. When you're looking at her character model here, you're mostly seeing the guitar, right? And so she should just be swinging the guitar instead of the sword. Like, I mean, come on now, that's clearly the way to go here. Because this is very jarring that she's got this giant ass guitar, and then all of a sudden it's a sword, and it's guitar again, and it's a sword, and now it's a guitar, and now, I mean, holy crap, this looks stupid. If it was just a guitar all the time, it would look fine. I actually did see the mask costume once because they made you bring her once. And I saw that, you know, she's got that giant bag and it's just appearing and disappearing all the time. It just, God. Like, if you don't have the time and the resources to make this many costumes and make them well, don't make this many costumes. Make less costumes and make them better. You know, or if you need to hire more staff, then hire more staff. I mean, like, that's the thing. I maybe foolishly, but I do have some hope for FGO. I think it's become so obvious. I think FGO's shortcomings have become so obvious as time has gone on, and how other games have blown them out of the water, and how their profits just keep falling and falling and falling. I think, you know, and with the new president and everything, I think there's a chance that they're gonna try to turn things around and stuff. However, they might just coast and, you know, slowly die. Plenty of games do that, so we'll just have to see. You know, I don't really have any confidence. I have a lot of confidence in that FGO is slowly dying and it's not being run well, right? I have a lot of confidence in that. I don't have a lot of confidence that DW, and I think it's savable. I think it's so savable. I think this game is super easy to save. But I'm not confident that DW is going to make the right decisions in the right time and actually turn this ship around, right? I hope they do, but I'm not confident. I feel like crap today, but I feel better than I did yesterday. So that's, but that's pretty normal when it comes to all these sleeping issues and whatnot. It's probably gonna take a while. You know, right now until I get like professional help, I don't think I'm gonna ever get back to like feeling really good. But whenever I have like a bad spout, it takes several days to kind of get to a, you know, a manageable position again. Thankfully, I'm gonna get vaccinated soon, and then I'm gonna, once that's done, I'm gonna, you know, seek professional help with all this, so. Alright, let's see if I can get my NP next turn at least. Yeah, I think this costume would have been so much better if she just used the guitar as a weapon. And then, I would definitely have preferred if the top and bottom half of the costume were the same color, but, the guitar thing is pretty messed up. She can't count. Nero is just so not my cup of tea, though. I mean, she's an adult acting like a child. I just don't hype that. Yeah, I don't want the game to die either, like, not at all. But, you know, like I said, they've still totally got a chance to turn it around. We'll just have to see. But I mean, these events have been so uninspired and so copy-paste. Yeah, the artists aren't phoning it in. The voice actors aren't phoning it in. The soundtrack, you know, people aren't phoning it in. But when it comes to the gameplay side of things, it has been phoned in for a long time, and these events have been so copy-pasted for so long. It is such a worn-out formula, and the fact that they have not tried to innovate is just shocking to me. And then the fact that they've done such a poor job at basic, you know, monetization is it's just pathetic. I mean, it's surprising to me how poorly they're running the game. It really is. Oh my god, Nero, shut up. I fucking hate Nero. I absolutely do not like Nero. I mean, she's an adult acting like a goddamn child. Yeah, I think a lot of people feel that way, Lonely Boy. You know, we'll see though. You know, I don't want to be a doomsayer or anything, but it's hard to deny. I mean, it's like if anyone that's got any experience following the video game industry and watching trends and watching other games and stuff, it's just so obvious that there's some really big missteps with FGO, especially on these last like 2 years. All right, so what was the other one that I got? Nitocris's. Is there a assassin node? Because we're not in this for the challenge right now. We're wanting to just get some degree of points and then show off the costumes here. Okay, there's an assassin one. I haven't even done it yet. Nito is probably the best costume. The problem is she doesn't have an animation update. She has a better character model than some people for sure, so it's not like the most egregious I've seen. But the new costumes on older character models just don't generally look great because they still have the old body proportions and everything, and you know, it could be better. But it's a nice costume. But yeah, it would have been nice if she got an animation update. And then that goes much same thing, but even more so when it comes to Serenity. It's default again. And now I can bring 2 CEs. Yeah, Amakusa was done well. Amakusa was done really well because not only did he animate the in-between frames with his new pose and his new items, but he actually, doesn't he attack with the cane instead of the katana and things like that? Like, they put some effort into that one. They definitely did not for these, which is sad because some of the stuff would take very little work to implement. Well, I think a lot of people do legitimately like the costumes and stuff, and so that is something that they're excited about, and that's fine. If you think the costumes are nice and some of your favorite characters got costumes and everything, that's fine. But like, for example, let's say there was an event that was pretty much like this one, but Ku got an animation update, and maybe Sanson got an animation update, right? I'd be happy, and I'm like, yeah, these servants I use all the time that I really like her, you know, that's really awesome. But I could still easily separate that from, but yeah, this event is copy-paste, you know, garbage, that's boring as fuck, right? I can easily see the difference. Because there's been times where, like, a certain aspect of an event I'm happy about, you know, personally, but objectively I'm like, but yeah, this is still a really crappy event, right? Like, I mean, that's obvious. So, hey look, Nidor Chris, they actually put the weapon in her default pose, so it shouldn't look completely ridiculous when she attacks. I don't know why they don't do this with more costumes. Yeah, it looks totally normal. Like, her weapon's not randomly morphing between a guitar and a sword. Yeah, the only issue here is just the fact that her character model is a bit outdated. It's not, you know, it's not day one. It's definitely better than that, but it's nothing to write home about. You know, this one's implemented totally fine so far. Yeah, I would say this one is fine, Ushi's is fine. I swear there was another one that was pretty good, but a lot of these have been pretty lazy. I would definitely say Ushi's was implemented the best, and she has an up-to-date, you know, character model and everything, and you know, her sword is in the sprite, and the transition is totally smooth, and there's like no issues. So yeah, Ushi's was done well. I'll actually use this costume though. I'll use this one. I'll use Ushi's too, but I don't know if I'll use it all the time, just because it doesn't have the skill line. The skill line is so good that you gotta have it. But yeah, I do like the Ushi one more because, you know, actually wearing clothing is kind of a nice thing. Oh, this is only wave 2. Let's not throw here. I'm kind of dreading looking at Serenities because I know it's going to be bad. Because she's got kind of an old character model. It's not super old, you know, it's better than day one, but same issue. I've noticed this though over the years. Never mind Reddit, never mind any of that. Like, the FGO community has a real problem with like, just criticism of the game, right? Like, people are so defensive of FGO, and they take it as if you're attacking my game, you're attacking me, right? Which is ridiculous. I'm a huge Fate fan, of course. You know, I mean, anybody that's watched my stream for any degree of time is gotta be well aware I am a giant fucking Fate nerd, right? I'm over here talking about character material books and notes and fucking, like, Jesus. But, you know, I'm not blind to the problems, and, you know, the game needs to get better. If it's gonna survive and thrive, it needs to get better. It very much needs to get better. But, like, I remember on my Discord, we had, like, this group of, one of them was even a mod, and this whole clique that, man, they would just get so mad when I would criticize the game, even though they would never actually show, like, a valid reason why my criticism was wrong. And they would just throw such a tantrum, I remember, when I criticized the game. And I just see that kind of sentiment on a lot of places with FGO, where people, they don't want to hear that there's something wrong with the game, because they don't want it to die, they don't want it to be bad, they, you know, they don't want their time to be wasted and all these things. And I get that, but that's got nothing, you know, you can't conflate that with, you know, legitimate criticism. If the game has problems, it needs to be addressed, it needs to be, you know, fixed. And you're never going to do that if you're just blindly, you know, putting your head in the sand, acting like there's not any problems. And yeah, that happens with a lot of franchises, it's true. That's definitely true. I've seen that with many franchises. It goes way beyond Fate, but I do think FGO in particular has a real problem with it. And I think some of that is because Fate is a popular IP and a lot of people like it beyond FGO, and it was popular before FGO, where you have other games like Arknights and stuff that are original IPs, and there's, you know, a less attachment to, like, the brand, if you will. I think that's part of it. But there, of course, you see that kind of, you know, tribalism and defensiveness. And sometimes people make criticisms of games that are bullshit, and you should be like, no, that's not a very good criticism, right? Like, of course, just because you say something's criticism doesn't mean it's valid, right? Of course not. There is definitely invalid criticism or illogical bullshit and all that kind of thing. But there's a lot of clear, you know, issues with FGO that I think people are just in denial about. You know, just how copy-pasty the events are is a huge part of the problem, and how uninnovative they are with, you know, adding, you know, new game modes and making everything so easy all the fucking time. And, you know, making farming easy, that's fine, you know, but here, this is an example, and I think the problem here is laziness, right? I see a lot of people saying, oh, they don't want the game to be hard. I don't want to play Dark Souls, blah, 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 blah. Just because something's hard doesn't mean you're being Dark Souls, for fuck's sakes, right? So when you look at, like, go to final, right? And, like the bonus floors in that tower event that we just had. You know, they have found ways to have, you know, interesting content that kind of spread throughout that keeps the event from being, because good to final is not boring, right? Yeah, you got the typical farming that you can focus on, but you have a nice, healthy amount of side bosses to fight pretty regularly, that if you want them to be, you know, kind of easy and you can just, you know, face roll it, you can bring the story support, and if you want it to be like a whole ordeal, you just don't bring the story support, right? That's a really good way of managing, like, the boredom, you know, like having just nothing to do. Like, why roll? Imagine min-maxing around, like, the new character, Miss Crane, so you can 3-turn nodes that you've been 3-turning for years, right? Like, who gives a fuck? If you want to, imagine though, if this event was more like go to final, right? We have all these bosses and stuff. That's a really good playground to mess around with Miss Crane, isn't it, right? Or if they add a new DPS unit, right? Same deal. You know, you want to use your toys. You want to have things to do. You want to actually think for a second. And yeah, some people like playing FGO as a side game, and they just want to, like, you know, farm mindlessly and just progress for the sake of progression. Some people legitimately play because of that, and that's fine. I'm not gonna hate on those people. It's not why I play, but that's why some people play, and that's fine. And that's why it's good to do things like go to final, where it's like an optional thing, or those bonus floors in the entire event that you didn't have to do, but you could sit down and do them all back to back and have a hell of a time. Like, I tell you, most recent Setsubun style event, you know, at first I really didn't like it because it was really boring, you know, but then once I, you know, got further, and I was like, man, this is actually pretty fun. You know, I did not enjoy the beginning of that event, but once I got rolling, I enjoyed it a lot. And then when I did stream, like, all the bonus floors back to back, I had a damn good time, right? I had a blast. And so the fact that, like, FGO, they know how to make fun stages, and honestly, the people that, when they do sit down and try to, like, okay, let's make some good gameplay, I'm impressed. I'm impressed. Those bonus floors in that event were impressive because they weren't so hard that you had to be meta or die, right? They weren't like that at all. But they were, you had to think for a second, but there was a lot of different ways to approach it. But because of the style of the event, you were rewarded for clearing it with a minimum amount of units and not strong-arming it. But you could strong-arm, it's like, fuck it, I'm stuck on this, I'm gonna strong-arm this one and I'll do the other bonus floors later. You could do that too, right? But you were incentivized to try to beat it with a minimal amount of stuff. And that made it pretty interesting. And not only were the floors, you know, balanced well like that, but the floors were really different. Each one of those bonus floors, every time I started one, I had no idea what I was getting myself into, right? And each one of them was like very unique and different, and you know, something fun to experience, right? So whenever they do try to get out there and make stages and make stuff that's, you know, oh, we want there to be a chance that you might actually fail this, so there's some tension, right? They do a good job. They do a really good job. I'm actually impressed with how good of a job they do. And that's why I'm so disappointed when we have events like this that are just so copy-paste, just so easy, so face roll, just the same farming bullshit over and over again. And again, some people want the farming bullshit, and that's fine. You know, I'm not trying to take that away from people, but you can have, you know, optional side content that's, you know, interesting, because they've done it. They've done it several times, they've done it, but they don't do it often because, you know, they're, I don't know, I don't even know why. I think they feel like if they have events that have, I think they think even if it's optional, and even if they give you an easy way out with like story supports that are, you know, really, really powerful and everything, that like make it way easier. Like, because like in Good of Final, the story supports just aren't powerful. They have gimmicks. The story support character has gimmicks that make the fight easier, and they remove gimmicks. But I think they feel like if content is optional, everyone is going to feel obligated that they have to do it. And if they make hard optional content often, a lot of people are going to be mad. They feel like they're only allowed to make interesting content every so often, basically. Like, that's very much how it feels to me. Like, they feel like they owe the player base these really easy autopilot events. Which I think is nonsense. I mean, right, you know, again, player engagement right now I think is way low. I mean, you look at it. I mean, go to Google Trends and you can check the amount of people that search FGO, you know, or even Fake Grand Order. You can look at both. You know, it's gone way down. It's gone way down. You know, the interest in the game has dropped, and a lot of that is because it's just the same tired formula over and over again, right? People might seem like they're super happy with the game and everything else on Reddit and Discord and stuff, but that's because those are the people that are the most invested in it, right? There are so many people that, you know, have come in like, and then left and not said a word, right? There's so many players like that. And that's not good for the game, right? Like, how little interest there is now in FGO from like gaming at large is not good, right? It's quite low. All right, let's check out Serenity's costume here. I don't have it yet because I don't have a key, so hopefully somebody on my friends list will have it. I don't check Reddit really, so so I don't really know, but I have definitely noticed that there are more people complaining now than ever. That's kind of obvious, but I think they're generally met with just so much, you know, backlash, and there's still so many people that are trying to like shut down the criticism or put their head in the sand. Again, I think that's not healthy. And again, you don't have to agree with all the criticism, and you can put in your 2 cents about how, you know, you think things should be and everything, and that's totally fine and valid, right? But there's clearly some things wrong with the game right now. I think that's and it's been like that way for like a year or more, I would say. They've been going downhill for a while here. Is there no writer's stage? I'm trying to find a stage that Serenity at level 70 can handle, and it doesn't seem like there's a writer stage yet, so we could try Berserker. This is like a low-level Berserker one. You can probably handle that. Kind of a waste of a time for a stage, though. The fact that it costs 40 AP is kind of insulting, but, you know, she doesn't have any hard survival, though, so I feel like Serenity would actually die here. I mean, maybe not. Now, Grand Blue Fantasy, though, has been very smart. Obviously, the interest in their specific, you know, Grand Blue Fantasy game has gone down, but they have expanded their brand so much. A lot of people play their fighting game just for it to be a fighting game, right? And there's so much attention on like them as a developer beyond just their one game, right? And so they've taken their success and really ran with it, where DW hasn't. Like, they just haven't. And I hate to say this, I'm not trying to be a dick, and I hope they change my mind. I hope to God, when I'm about to eat my words here, but I respect the developer of Grand Blue Fantasy, and I'm basically rooting for them because how can I not? They deserve it. They've been smart, they've used their IP well, they've expanded well, they've done a good job, right? And so I'm like rooting for them as a company beyond their individual game of Grand Blue Fantasy, right? I don't feel that way about DW. I'm not happy to say that, but I don't care about DW beyond FGO. Because I like FGO because I like the Fate franchise a lot, and I do think the core gameplay in this game, just coincidentally, like for boss fights and stuff, is actually good. I think there's some real depth when you're doing boss fights and everything in this gameplay, so I really care. So I care about FGO, I don't care about DW. I don't like saying that. I'd like to care about DW, I'd like for them to impress me and make me care about them beyond the one game. But I literally don't give a fuck about them beyond FGO, because they are just such an unimpressive company to me, and I don't think they do good stuff. Hey, how you say this? Ryu? I'm terrible with names. I can't believe I can't say that, but thank you for the sub, dude. Okay, I gotta find something to do with Serenity here, for God's sakes. I guess Rio, I guess. Huh. I guess I'll do that. I mean, Serenity, it may have no survival, but it's only level 40 stage, so let's see if I can find anybody with Serenity slotted. If not, we'll have to grind and unlock it ourselves. Who else has a costume? I guess we could show off Mashes, too. I think I saw someone on my... there we go. 444 the Dream. This is... Oh, I can't look at her other stages, though, but I suspect this is going to be bad. I mean, this just... I mean, you can tell she's got, like, the, you know, bigger head proportion, you know... Oh, God, this is not gonna... I tell you, every time they do a new costume on an old character sprite, I'm just like, oh, God. I think Jolter's got it the worst, though, in the entire game. Level 85, but 454. Is it a newer account? I feel like it's a newer account thing. I generally say for online personas, it's actually good to have short names, so I would agree with you on that. Like, you want people to be able to remember it quickly and easily, even if they're not, like, invested in your channel or your Reddit post or whatever it is, right? If you want a memorable name, one of the best things to do is make it short and sweet. Yeah, I really feel... Oh my god. The camera is just like so janky with old animations too, man. I mean, like, the design of the costume is completely fine. But on a day one character sprite here, it does not look good. Also, this is subjective, but I think it would look way cooler with the mask. I think Hassan's with their mask are kind of lacking. And then, if I remember correctly, you can actually see the daggers like on her belt and stuff in the other, in her normal sprite, where this one they're kind of just appearing out of nowhere, so. She's not day one, and she does have a character model that's better than day one, but not by a huge amount, right? It is better, you know, it is clearly better, but it's still pretty old, you know, it's not like that great of a character model. You know, she's still got like a disproportionately large head, it's a lot less detailed. That's a big one. A lot of the older character models are just a lot less detailed. And so the costume is pretty detailed, but then like herself isn't. So it's that the contrast there is kind of eh. If she had just gotten an animation update with this event, I think Serenity fans would have been happy. And I'm sure some are just happy to have the costume, but still. I mean, the camera can't even stay focused on her, for God's sakes. Yeah, she's around the level of Nito. I think Nito's is a bit better. They were made around the same time, but Nito's a 4-star, so I think they just put more effort into it. I really wish we had our NP right now, because then I could at least kill 2 of them. And then I'd have 1 turn to build up my NP for the next wave, where now that 1 turn is on a turn where I don't need to build my NP, so if I NP next turn and kill 2, I won't have any time to build up my NP, so this is quite bad. I take a lot of damage here. She actually might lose because of that. Like, literally that right there, not getting our NP, that might get us killed. Depends on how hard they hit. Thankfully, they don't hit too hard. Do I kill them both? I guess I do. As I go for it. Why are there so many shoes on her costume art? I haven't looked. I didn't even notice. Is she in like a closet or something? Well, I'll have to look after this. And like her head, like they never reanimate her, so like the perspective never changes. It's always from like the side, and her head is always facing the same direction. A lot of her motions should be from a slightly different perspective, so that looks pretty whack. Yeah, she's very stiff. Might as well evade now. I really wish they'd either made more costumes, put more effort into it, or just been better with their management and, you know, hired more artists and stuff, and been able to put more effort into these costumes. You know, like Nero using the guitar as a weapon would have been so much better, and it would have made it look better too. It would have been so much less janky. So I really wish they had put in that kind of effort. Okay, so he casts Guts at full health, so that's annoying. What if she doesn't do 65k? I mean, she has art up and attack up. She should do 65k. She may be level 70 and her skill ranks might be crap, but I swear. That's a picture. Carmilla with 2 art cards would be so broken. Like, her gain rate is just so not balanced with that in mind. You'd have to lower her gain rate. I mean, it would be funny. It would be really funny, but Carmella's a really strong unit anyway, and if she had that kind of gain rate, it'd be just kind of nonsense. But it's not like Carmella has any trouble getting her NP. She has good gain rate, and she has a battery skill, so she's in good shape. Alright, let me check the art for this. Yeah, there's almost no way to do Serenity's in P well in gameplay. I'll give DW some defense on that one. Like, how on earth are you going to implement that in a way that's actually going to like scale with every enemy correctly? It's not going to work, right? But that's what her NP is, so it's like, well, fuck it. So they kind of didn't have a good option on that one. All right, let's show off Nash, I think, next. Let's see, I gotta find the art real quick and then we'll show off Nash. Was she in the all slot or the assassin slot? I don't remember. Serenity, pretty rare. Hill gets a Serenity, but no costume. Oh, well, there's shooting. We'll show that off in a second. Don't you just love the friend system in this game that they force you to use every stage? A lot of games that have a worse support system, because there are a lot of games that have a worse support system than FGO, they don't force you to use it though, right? You can just use your own units. This game, like every stage you do, you must bring someone else's unit, and then it is just so, you have so little control over it. What are with all these Serenities that, like, they're slotted, but they're scuffed, and they don't have CEs, and they're not using the costume, so then why did they even slaughter? Oh my god, I should have farmed all. I did not think. Why is Serenity so hard to find, dude? I thought she was popular. If I swear, I should have just farmed off stream a bunch and bought all the costumes myself, so. This is ridiculous. Good god. The fuck? Yeah, chat's right. Why are there so many shoes here? That's so random, and it's not even a claw. I don't understand. That doesn't, and it doesn't even have anything to do with anything. Like, that's not even the shoes she wears. That is so random. I do not understand. See, they should have then just rolled with it and had her like throw them as projectiles instead of the knives. That'd have been hilarious. I have no idea why that's a thing. I don't really get it. It's Serenity. I don't know. I've only really seen Serenity in terms of like Fate prototype, right? I've read that. Is she like really into fashion or something? I don't even get it. Like that seems super random to me. Anyway, let's as much as I don't like shooting, we'll show her off anyway. It's true, she doesn't even normally wear shoes. Well, at least she's wearing clothes. Now, see, if I'm not mistaken, doesn't she normally, like, have the platter there and everything, like, on her model always? Like, normally, but now it's not present. And so, again, now it's just appearing with no fanfare. There's no, like, you know, flash for, like, spawning and despawning. Why did they do this? Why is she just not holding them like normal, then? You can have the new costume and still have her holding the platter. Like, that... Duh! Why do they keep doing this with these costumes? Why do they needlessly make them so, like, janky and clippy? But some of them aren't like this. You know, they had Nidocris. Nidocris holds her staff like normal. Why isn't shooting? I don't understand. Why though? Oh my god, look at this. Why though? It could be better. It's not as bad as Siegfried. I'll say it's significantly better than Siegfried, because he has it appearing and disappearing as he moves around the map, which is just insanity. At least he did the in-between frame. They pretty much always do the in-between frame now, though, because I think they realize how stupid it is not to. And yet they haven't gone back and fixed the old ones, though. Can I charm this thing? Okay, I charmed the other one. Good enough. Trying to not get punched in the face. I mean, this is not awful, right? It's not as bad as some of the other ones. But it's just, it's needlessly, you know, spawny, despawning when it didn't really need to be that way. But, she already had some of that in her original model, though, with, like, the blue thing she whips out and everything. But, no need to make it even worse. I wonder how popular this costume will be compared to her regular. The thing is, they're less incentivized to update old character models that have a costume. There's not very many, but the reason is because you have to do more work. The animation update will take more effort because they basically have to do it and then do it for the costume as well. That's why I think it's been so long with Jolter not getting an animation update. I think she will get one eventually, but it's going to take a minute. So the dream would be to not kill the 77k one and get to do the art extra. I mean, overall, this is implemented, you know, decently. It's not too bad. But it's not their best. I mean, not Nero, Ushi and, Nidocris, I think, are implemented the best by a lot. But it's confusing to me, though, because, like, for those costumes, they had one standard, and for these costumes, they have a different standard, so it's very weird. I think this is how they're thinking, and this is dumb as fuck, but I think their logic is, if they can get away with it, they won't have the weapon in their default pose, because they think it looks better. Like, they want to show off the costume, like, you don't want that weapon being in the way. But when there's animations like Ushi, where Ushi is constantly, like, drawing and sheathing the blade in her attacks, you know, because she's a weeb, they're like, oh, we can't, there's really no good way to do this, so I guess we'll just put the sword on the default pose, because we have to. But that's backwards. They should be putting the weapons in the default pose so it doesn't look fucking stupid, unless they can't, right? But they seem to only put it in their attacks if they absolutely must. And if they can get away with not having a weapon in their default pose, they won't have a weapon. Which is just whack, though, because it ends up looking really stupid. Didn't quite get my MP there. Just play the same voice line over and over again, okay? 43 stars, though. Because we got our skill and the idol thing. One of these days, they're gonna give the book an animation update, and we'll see if she gets a new voice line. I know, I'm sorry, I don't have any control over the ads. I'm not happy about it. I don't like how Twitch has gone into ad hell. And from a business standpoint, I don't like it either, because I'd rather viewers be happy, you know, than you know, Twitch forcing ads down everyone's throats. And you know, Twitch takes a huge cut of it anyway, and that's why they're doing it. But I don't get it. Twitch literally can passively make money and do nothing, because they take when you subscribe to somebody on Twitch, Twitch takes half of it, right? And there are so many subscriptions flying out every day to so many channels across Twitch. You know, Twitch is just literally being handed money constantly, right? They don't need to be so greedy with the ads and trying to force people to watch ads all the time now. I think it's very foolish of them to do that. I think this is a terrible business decision on Twitch's part, because YouTube streaming is really catching up to them. Right now, Twitch has still got most of the like attention, right? They have most of the stream. They have like you know, almost a monopoly, but not quite. But YouTube is definitely catching up to them, right? Like YouTube streaming is a real threat to Twitch. Like YouTube is putting a lot of effort into doing it, and it's a better user experience. But I think Twitch is a better chat experience. That's the thing. YouTube is doing a better job at how they're handling their streams, and they're not making you watch ads every 5 seconds and crap like that. But Twitch does still have the better chat experience. You know, the way emotes are done are a lot better and that kind of thing. But yeah, YouTube is growing, and then Twitch is over here doing things to piss people off. That is stupid. When your competition is biting at your heels, that is not the time to be doing user-unfriendly stuff and trying to, you know, penny pinch people. Terrible, terrible move. Twitch should do everything they can. They should be doing everything they can to make the user experience better right now, to kind of keep people happy and keep eyes on their website. Because they passively make so much money, they have no need to be penny pinching with ads. They have no need for that. And I think why they've been doing it is, I know this because I've been following Twitch as a business since before it was Twitch. Like it used to be, was Justin TV or whatever. You know, I've been following streaming since it started, for God's sakes. And I remember, and anyone else that's, you know, been following streaming since the beginning probably might remember this. A lot of streamers used to like take ad breaks, right? And people still do that, but not as much at all anymore. Back in the day, it was really common that the streamers would take ad breaks, and Twitch gets a cut of that, right? But as time went on and people got more used to, like, people used to not really subscribe to people, right? Like on Twitch and throw bits at them and all that stuff. That wasn't really a thing. And so people made most of their money through streaming from running ads. But as time has gone on, I would say ad running has definitely gone down, outside of now the forced ad running, which you have no control over. But streamers themselves don't actively try to run ads anymore. They do occasionally, maybe if they go to the bathroom or at the end of their stream and stuff like that, but you don't really have ad breaks on the streams much anymore. And but you see a lot more subscriptions and donations and you know, bits and everything. Way more of that. And that's why I assume streamers just don't need to run ads anymore. So they just don't. So why bother? You don't even think about it. And so I guess Twitch is just trying to get that money back, right? They're like, oh man, we got to make that, but they shouldn't. They're making so much money from the subscriptions. Who cares? I mean, I don't think YouTube streaming is that bad. I mean, I've used it before I became a Twitch partner. I haven't used it in a long time, but I've watched some streams on there. There's a few issues. Here's the issues I think with YouTube streaming. First off, their chat experience is just inferior. It's just straight up, their chat experience is inferior. Their emote game is weak. You know, it's just, they're way behind there. And also, because YouTube is first and foremost a video sharing website, it doesn't have a good discoverability for like integrating their streaming and stuff. But in terms of like the way the broadcast works, the way the UI is, it's fine. I don't think there's anything wrong with Twitch. I think why a lot of people think YouTube streaming is so bad is because they're just so used to watching streams on Twitch. They are so used to that exact UI and that exact format that then being on anything different is really jarring and just feels wrong and they don't like it. But there's really nothing wrong with the UI on YouTube streaming and stuff. It's fine. I don't think there's any issue there. And like it or not, YouTube streaming is growing very rapidly. So, you know, Twitch needs to up their game. Like, they really do. Oh yeah, I do agree. YouTube as a company, you know, Google is kind of insane. and they are indeed at war with their creators all the time. Twitch is kind of like that too, though. I don't think Twitch is any better. I think Twitch has been atrocious in these last few years. I don't mean to badmouth the people I work for here, but it's just a fact. I think they've done a really, their PR is terrible. I mean, their PR is so bad. They do a really bad job of explaining their decisions, and they're not, and they keep doing these really, you know, greedy moves, and they communicate very poorly. So, but I think both Twitch and Google are very bad when it comes to, you know, working with their creators and being transparent and having their own creators back and that kind of thing. They're both terrible at that kind of stuff. But yeah, and this whole, like, the whole forcibly running ads things, I hate it. I fucking hate it. And it's like, I think in the long run, they'll lose money because they're gonna lose users. So it doesn't even make sense. All right, I guess we'll show off mashes. We'll do mash. Let's see if mash can solo this thing. These are normally a little gimmicky, but they're quite easy stat-wise. I'm on bonus servants. Where is she? Oh, there she is. She looks so different in that costume, I just didn't notice. Mash with golden sumo, let's go. These stages don't normally drop points, so... I don't mind Nero's costume from like an aesthetic standpoint, it's okay. And I like the Katara being green, it's a very good shade of green too, so it's fine. But I'm not a big fan of Nero anyway, so it's kind of like whatever. And then it is, you gotta admit, it is very jarring having that Katara be so prominent, her holding it like a, you know, a weapon half the time, and it just being so big, and then she just suddenly turns into a sword, and then immediately back into a Katara, and then to a sword again. Like, that does not look right. Out of pretty much all of the costumes, I think Nero's is the most jarring right now. Because, like, it's just begging for her to, like, swing the guitar like a weapon with, like, the way it is on her character model. And then just suddenly it's a sword, but then so quickly it's back to being a guitar again. That is really jarring. But I think Mash's is really jarring, too. I think Mash and Nero's are probably the most jarring. Mash's... and then Joan of Arc. Joan of Arc is pretty bad, too. Oh, I see what they're doing here. I see what they're doing here with this stage. That's funny. Put in slow-mo here. We're gonna have a bad time on this stage, I think. I don't think Mash got this. I'm not gonna use this costume, by the way. The voice lines are just too annoying to me. I mean, look at this nonsense. Look, it disappears! Like, could they not... Look, again, just put the shield in the default model and you won't have these ridiculous pop in and outs. Like, don't they put the shield in her summer costume where it's there all the time so it doesn't do this? Like, they just, like, while she's swinging, it disappears and then just immediately comes back. And then, like, the bags is just, you know, there for, like, half a second and then gone. And I'm pretty sure her NP, I haven't seen it yet, but I think her NP animation is going to look terrible. But we'll see. Yeah, it just, dude, put the weapons in the costumes. And if you've got a costume, like, I really stand by this. Jolter's costume should probably not have the flag, ever. But then you just put in the effort and you delete the flag and then give her slightly different attack animations to accommodate not having the flag. Right? Like, and really, I don't think Jolter should use the flag anyway, because she basically just fights with the sword in the flames, and the flag is just there, and it doesn't work. One-handing the flag looks terrible. The flag is totally fine on regular Joan of Arc because she's two-handing it! And she's, like, dedicating all of her effort into the flag so it doesn't look whack. But you have a giant-ass flagpole, but you're holding it with one hand, it looks terrible. Oh yeah, we get that, like, idle bonus so we make more stars and stuff. That'll actually be very helpful here. So if you're in fast mode, I suspect they're hoping that you just don't notice the shield is appearing and disappearing like that. But before the extra, you're still gonna notice. And at that point, it's like, that looks awful! That look, dude, I'm not a huge Mash fan, but like I've always thought like the end of her extra attack looked really cool when she like slams the shield down and it makes the screen shake and everything. But now she slams it down and you hear that thud, the screen shakes, but the shield is gone. Like that is not great. That really is not great. And then yeah, I don't like the voice lines at all. So I definitely would just be sticking with stage 3 Mash. They literally put in that bag just for that animation, but then it's just like in the way for everything else. Yeah, he has Pierce and vulnerability, so I think we need to... I should have actually been attacking him first, I think, but we need to get rid of him pretty quick. I think I do art. Now, if I do art, he might get his NP before I can kill him. We're gonna have to wait a second to NP, unfortunately. I do want to see her NP, though. Are you allowed to use this costume on VR Mash? Did she just... Look at this damage, though! Well, rip Rama. That looks so bad at the... Dude, that extra attack is killing me. Alright, oh wait, no, we'll go to fast mode after NPing. Rama has like a pretty dangerous gimmick here, but he has no health, so it doesn't matter. Oh my god, these voice lines. Yep, not using this costume. At least the shield is there from the beginning. Her back foot looks so messed up, and it's because her normal costume has like clod hoppers, right? Like she has such massive shoes in her other costumes, but this one really doesn't, and it's not translating so good. Because they don't redo the rigging work or anything, they're using the original animations, and they're basically pasting the costume on top of it, so... I don't mind the way the costume looks, though. The costume looks fine, but I don't like the implementation of it too much. So if I had used her third skill, she could have NP'd again here, and she probably could have face tanked the NP. Yep, the whole shield bag thing, not digging it. I'm glad there are a few costumes that are not like this, but they pretty universally implement costumes like this. I'm not gonna lie, it's not gonna look that much better in fast mode. It really doesn't, especially the extra attack. Now imagine if she hit him with the bag instead of the shield. They should have at least made a different extra attack, and I actually stand by this. I think if you're gonna if you're gonna do one thing for the costume, give it a unique extra attack. Hey, was it Berthold? I don't think I'm right about that at all, but thank you for the Twitch Prime sub. I am terrible with names, as usual. There's a reason someone in my chat is named Green. Can't read this, but I appreciate the support, dude. Anyway, if there's one thing that you should do is give them a unique extra attack based on the costume. And because her extra attack looks so bad with like the shield slamming into the ground, but then the shield immediately disappearing, make her beat them up with the bag instead of the shield in her extra attack, and that way you make a custom animation that will work with the costume. I think that should be a pretty universal thing to do for costumes. Give them a skill animation and a different extra attack. Used to having it butchered. So at least I'm not a hypocrite, right? And I talked about this a few streams ago, but this is completely detached from my own inability to read unfamiliar names that especially don't have capital letters in them. That's the big thing. Like One Lonely Boy, the capital letters there make it really easy, right? Anyway, I always disagree with people that get anal about names. I just think it's unreasonable and silly, right? Like, you know, I've said this before, my last name is German, and I do not expect most people to know how to pronounce it the German way. I know how to pronounce it the German way, and I know how to pronounce it, like, more English way, if you will. And I don't give a fuck which way people say it. I literally don't care. Like, I don't give a fuck, right? And I think it's stupid to give a fuck, right? Now, when you should give a fuck is when someone is trying to insult you, right? If they're making fun of your name or whatever. But if someone is just struggling to grasp it, or they're not used to that kind of pronunciation or what, who cares? Like, who cares? Right? I cannot, like, for example, most Japanese people just cannot pronounce English names, right? It's not happening, you know, Babu and everything, right? It's fine. I would never get insulted at a Japanese person pronouncing my first name wrong, or my middle name wrong, or I don't care. I don't care. If they're not trying to insult me, I have no problem. It's just not relevant. It's just such a silly thing to get anal about, right? Like, and some people they just take it as like such a personal offense when someone pronounces their name wrong. And they're like looking to be offended, right? They're like, oh, it gives me an opportunity to take the moral high ground or something, right? It's ridiculous. I very much am not a fan of that. That whole mindset, right? I'm not into that. Anyway, I think we've shown all the costumes now. Most of them were implemented really badly. I'm trying to think if there's any costumes they have. Oh, wait, no. We haven't shown off Uriel's. I completely forgot about that one. I'm probably going to have to farm, though, to get it, because I doubt I'm going to find anybody that has Uriel slotted. Unless someone in chat has her. Let's see. I think I needed to get 150k, so I'd have to... Yeah, this one's not even close. I don't even know which... Okay, this is the blue point. So I'm the closest on blue points. I've got a scuffed Uriel slotted. Do I have you added, even? We just cleared all of our invites. I'm gonna have to remove some people here soon, though. It's getting way out of control how many people I have added. Okay, next, I can pretty much guarantee you a lot of people that I've added right now are gonna get removed the next time I go to make a video. Because that's just way too many people. Alright, which one is best for farming blue here? Or just good? I don't even really care at this point. This event, just need blue points. Okay, this is blue and green. That one doesn't have a quest yet. God, I hate this event. Blue and red. That's a really old quest, so that's not going to be it. This is not blue and red too. There's just blue, but it's level 20. That's not going to drop shit. Not even a farming node. It's probably just this one then. Besides, it drops bones. Good enough for me. Let me make sure. That's level 70. This map format is trash, by the way. This one's level 80, so it's actually probably this one. I'll check real quick in case anyone's got her slotted, but Hex has her slotted, but or Maniac, but I'm assuming she's not using the costume right now. Negative. Okay, let's go like double Nidochris. That should be easy farm and then bonus points. And then no one has Nidochris slotted because this fucking game. Oh, there we go. Ramrod, although he doesn't have a good bonus CE. It's actually worse. Also worse. I guess we'll go with this then. Let's see here. Basically want to bring all bonus servants. I care about AP to bonus ratio, not timed stages done. Who gives the most bonus here? I think MHX, obviously. Yeah, Helen is fine here, but Neither Chris has 100% battery, so that's pretty swell. But actually, Helena's pretty good though, because she'll give team buffs, so it's no problem. I wonder if I can make a team where every single unit is a bonus servant and have it still be decent. Nero's got a battery skill. She's not counterclassing, but that's okay. Who else would be an option here? Calamity Jane gives some battery to the team and then damage to the team. She has a battery, but 111 LOL. I could do... Okay, I got an idea here. I might play NA today, though. This event is so dull, and I'm so not into it. Case Files sounds significantly more appealing than this. The only thing is, Case Files, I don't think is that good of an event either. It's not awful, it's not boring. It's kind of fun to play, but I don't think it's fun to watch because none of it's hard. But it is paced well. You mix up what you're doing pretty regularly. I think it's probably the smoothest mission event in the entire game. You can just you're kind of constantly moving forward. There's really almost no time gates. There's only one time gate at the very end, and that's nothing. The problem is just none of the boss fights are hard. The only boss fights that are fun is the final main story boss and the challenge quest. And those are good. I really like the challenge quest and the main story boss at the end. But everything else is really boring. But it is a really easy event to play and kind of just get through. I wouldn't mind playing it just to get... Isn't there a poison command code in that event or something? Always happy to get those. I feel like we need like one more thing on the team here and use like the switch mystic code. What do I have that would be useful? I mean, Calamity Jane would add damage to the team. So like, how much bonus should she give? 10%? That's pretty bad. Do I have anyone else that gives like 20? Don't have Arc. Izushi 20? Yep. Anyone that got a costume I think is 20. Keep forgetting that I have Attila. I don't even remember if this stage drops this map, but we'll find out. Okay, this is decent. Let's see what we can do with this. I got MP3, Luvia for my multis. Gonna try again and see if I can get her at MP5. I mean, I will say, if you're happy with what you're not wanting to like blow your SQ, she's great at MP3. That's where your MP damage peaks. So I don't think you would ever feel bad with like her performance at MP3. But if you're like, oh man, I want to go all in, she's like one of my favorite characters, or I want her to be super strong or whatever, then yeah, you might as well go for MP5 because she's one of the units that's really has the potential to be so powerful, right? So getting all the upgrades possible definitely. If you're wanting her to be the best she can be and be one of the strongest units in the game, then she can do it, right? I guess have Nero NP on the first wave. Okay, that's pretty funny, that skill animation. Again, should use the guitar as the weapon and make this costume work a lot better. Oh my god, I hate the voice lines though. I need to change them back. I forgot I'm using my Nero here. Like, holy fuck. Wait, why am I building NP on Helena? She doesn't need it. Only got one of the 5-star CE. I mean, in the long run, who gives a shit about the event CEs, though? It's not a particularly great CE. Wait, actually, I don't remember what the CE from that event is. I think I'm conflating it with something else. But normally, event 5-star CEs are not important, and for the farming aspect, it's pretty temporary, so... But yeah, if you don't have Reigns yet and you want to get her, then yeah, you might as well. It's like, hey, and as a bonus, if I get more Luvia, great, and that makes sense. If you like Reigns, then yeah, I think it makes sense to... She didn't kill. I should have used Helena's buff there. God damn it. It's all messed up now. I'd like to remind everyone, our solo account that only levels Asterios has gotten waiver on stream. We've gotten waiver twice. Actually, no, I got one waiver off stream when I first started playing the account. I just like rolled waiver and boom. I just rolled story and got him in literally my first summon ever. And then we got waiver again on stream from story summon. So yeah, that's a thing. And that account will never level him either. I would happily give out both of those waivers to my chat if I could. We're slightly lacking on damage on this team. I wanted to like 3-turn. Like we're so close for everything lining up, but it's not. Although I guess you could have Nero. We can refine this. Well, you have Nero actually kill because use Helena's buff, and then you probably just switch in Calamity Jane for the extra damage right there or something. Or Uchi, maybe because it's like so close to 3-turning, but it's not. Surely they'll do the damage here, right? Kind of a low damage output team here. Will Green ever see it? See what? Damn it, we got to do the other NP. Yikes. Got a scuffed Uriel slotted? Yeah, I'll check in a second here. I'm gonna go change Nero's costume because those voice lines. I do like the green though, I'll give it that. It's been a while since they've had an SR ticket on JP, and it's because of the free 5-star instead. I don't even remember which stage I use. I'll go with stage 1 because those particle effects look terrible. So we'll just go with stage 1 here. Don't really use Nero that often, but he can be useful for farming and such. One of these days, I'm gonna upgrade her though, like to 10-10-10, just so I can like test her more thoroughly, because she's kind of an interesting unit with her guts and everything. People always, you know, are like, oh my god, Nero's so good at soloing, even though she's kind of at it, but... She just looks like Steno. Like, literally, she just looks like Steno. I'm so confused, too, because something they've always done is they've had, like, Steno does, like, the diamond pattern thing on her legs. That's, like, a thing. But now Uriel just does it in her costume. So it's just kind of like, you just look like Steno. Like, I don't get it. I really want to get this, though, on my account so I can show... I want to go to the sprite thing and show, like, the difference between one of her stages and the actual costume, because I think it's going to be fairly minimal. Why are her gloves like that weird shade of blue? That's just so bizarre to me. Kind of a yikes. Oh my god, I'm gonna switch out of this one too. Get rid of these goddamn costumes. By the way, Mash's UI is just insane now. I mean, look at this. Like, what the crap? Hey, look, it has the shield, so it's not like really awkward. Look, also has the shield. Although the shield is also CGI, and boy, does that stand out. What a nightmare. Like, with all the switching between things. Look how long this takes. Look at this. Like, look at this. They have a problem. And they're not... I suspect they're gonna make more MASH costumes, too, in future. Yep, this is a cluttered mess. The only thing that rivals it is Nero, because Nero has 3, but that's not even close though, because Max got the alternate versions and an alternate version to the alternate version with the visor and everything. I see room for another mask costume on that UI. I mean, I'm sure they'll do it. Something will happen with MASH by the end of the Lost Belts, like, clearly. And potentially in Lost Belt 6. Or in Lost Belt 6 Part 2 or Part 3, because let's be real, they're gonna drag this shit on forever. I feel like if I taunt right now, George isn't gonna die, but maybe Qin Gong will because he doesn't have the defense buff. At least Uriel has a recent animation update though, so this shouldn't look like crap. Hey look, the Berserker, which is the one that's most likely to kill him, didn't fucking attack. Imagine having bronze mobs that do almost nothing actually cast some useless skill instead of attacking. It's like, what the hell? I assume her voice lines are different, but I wouldn't know because I never use Uriel. I don't think it looks bad, I guess. It's just, I don't think it really looks good either because it's basically what Steno wears. Like, that's just such a dumb costume in my opinion. It's basically Steno's getup on Uriel and then with gloves that look really stupid in my opinion because they're fucking they're like dirty blue. They look like they've gone through like muddy water. And like, why blue? Nothing about this costume says you should have blue gloves. Like nothing. It doesn't match anything on the entire costume. Can I get like any of my taunts killed? Not really seeming like it. Is that out yet, Zaw? I don't even know. I'll try to stream that today. That crit animation. That's so clearly them like, you know, stabbing with the sword, but it was a mic. That looked kind of weird. Can you guys just attack for God's sakes? But no, you gotta hit Uriel though. Qin Gong, who his first skill is at rank 1, so it has the longest cooldown possible, is about to get his taunt back. Oh yeah, isn't there another event starting today on Genshin? Dude, Genshin is just like pumping out content over there, it's crazy. Why is that a rainbow though? Yeah, I would have thought it'd been like just, you know, pink, right? Will we crit though? Why don't we get a Qin Gong costume? That'd be awesome. I don't know, man. These costumes just feel like such a gimmick to me. I feel like they're like, let's do something really, you know, really. They think this is what's gonna bring all the people in, but I don't think it is. It's just like, you know, it's so boring. Like, I'm all for costumes, right? Costumes are fine, but you're not gonna bring new people back, right? People that have quit, they're not gonna come back because of costumes. And then they're just implemented really lazy-like. I feel like they just like, let's make 12 costumes, and like, we don't have the time or the manpower to make 12 good costumes. So, you know, that's why you have all this clip in and slop and stuff. Qin NP. He's level 1, so I don't think we would be able to win with that. But that would be funny. But we gotta actually try to see her animations and stuff here. So far, though, it looks like Uriel's is implemented decently well. Yeah, her bow is just appearing out of nowhere, but I think it does that anyway because, you know, FGO sometimes. But it's fine. You know, I'm not a Uriel fan, obviously, but this is implemented just fine. I'm pretty sure her bow has that kind of pop-in issue, like with the regular get-up, which is bad too, but, you know, what are you gonna do? That looks really bad in fast mode. Is that a new animation? I don't even know. Because she just did it a bunch, so I'm assuming that's a costume-specific animation. She just looks like she's flailing around. Like, what the hell? You're gonna give yourself a headache that way. Damage, though. Everybody wanted the chin NP. I wanted it too, but I'd lose AP, so... Honestly, the only... Like, the gloves, I'm just like, why? Like, just... It's so weird. Why on earth would you make such a bizarre shade of blue on when nothing else on the costume goes with that in the slightest? It doesn't even contrast anything. Okay. I think that's all the costumes now. Yeah, it's not even quite teal though. It's kind of like dark teal, because teal is normally brighter than that. It looks like teal gloves that went through dirty water. That's what it looks like to me. Which I like how you said that like that meant fucking anything. Like, oh, it's fine now because it's teal. Like that doesn't change anything. And teal is a shade of blue, jackass. Dude, main interludes are handled so badly. Not only are main interludes handled badly, but they don't even use them when they obviously should. Right? They're like, hey, let's have 2 months of no content and also not put out a main interlude, which is literally copy-pasted content. It's like free real estate, but they don't do it. And then when they do it, you don't get the CEs or any of that stuff. Okay, well, there's really nothing... Well, okay, we'll do this real fast, I guess. I think they're just too lazy. I think they just, like, man, their management is just nuts. I mean, we know for a fact that they were pulling people off FGO and putting them on that Soccer Awards game. So they probably just had, like, no manpower to do anything. So hopefully it'll get better, but we'll have to see. What are we gonna use here? I guess we'll just use one of my units. Wait, did they delay this event? You know what? When in doubt, just use Coup. I have no command codes on. I have to fix that. It's gonna take 5 hours now.
Yeah.
The thing is, I don't think that was a delay though. Like as soon as they announced it, I even said it was probably going to be forever because they were so obsessed with the showing off the costumes once a week thing. Because they said that from the announcement. Like the announcement, they said they were going to show the costumes once a week, and I was like, if they only show the costumes like there's only a 1 week wait, they don't show like costumes once and then instantly start the event. So what was the point of that build up, right? So I think they always had intended on it coming out when it came out. Yeah, I don't think they delayed it. I think they always had intended it coming out then. And all this dead space just because they're bad at managing things. And yeah, they should have clearly done a main interlude or something, for God's sakes, or a rerun of Case Files, something, right? But man, I get tired of this. People come into my chat and like, I don't, am I nuts? Because like, as far as I see it, especially when you don't know the person very well, and if you're trying to make a joke and you don't know it's a joke or whatever, but that's not what's happening here. But I've seen this when streaming a lot. I see it in my stream, I see it in other people's stream. You know, you'll have somebody being like nitpicky in chat, which is rude in my opinion. Like really, especially when someone's saying something and you just like, oh no, that's obnoxious and it's rude, right? And then streamer gets rude back, which in my opinion, fair enough. And then the person in chat is like, oh, how dare you, right? It's just like, I see this all the time. You have someone on like Reddit or whatever in YouTube comments. They'll say something insulting or rude or insinuating, and then when somebody punches back, they act like, oh, how dare you? I look at you, you're so rude. Like you see this with like Karens. You'll see this with Karens out in like a restaurant or something, right? They'll be very rude and very presumptuous or what have you, and then someone will throw it back at them, and then they can't take it, and it's like, then why did you if you don't want people to talk to you that way, don't talk to them that way. I feel so bad for anyone named Karen, by the way. Like because it's such a thing now, right? Like when people say Karen, everyone thinks of that. It's so unfair to people that just happen to be named Karen, right? I see that it's a very common thing that I see. People this is what I've seen throughout my life. And I remember this was a thing at my father's like martial arts school and stuff too. People, and to some degree rightfully so, but people do not like when people treat them rudely. People automatically get very defensive, upset, all these things. People do not like when they think someone is treating them rudely, right? Which, on its surface, that's fine. The problem is, what I see very often is people will behave in a way that is rude. And then, especially in like an underhanded way, which I think is actually a lot of times worse, right? And then someone will kind of throw it right back in their face, and then they just get, there's like, oh, which I think that's ridiculous, right? If you're gonna dish it out, you gotta be able to take it too. If you don't want people to be rude at you, don't be rude. Now I get it. Like if you're like minding your own business and someone just comes up to you and is being rude, then you have some plenty of reason to. That's what happens, right? Like, 'cause I remember that. Let me explain what I'm talking about, because this happened to me at my old job when I used to work at that parking company. So sometimes working for this company, I'd have to like you'd have to move around some, and there'd be like events going on in this city, all kinds of things. And so I remember there was this building next to the garage that I mostly was at, and it's like a building that like connects to a lot of other buildings. It's a real hub, right? Lots of people come and go through it. There's even some like restaurants there because they know people come through it, so people eat lunch there and things like that. And it's part of a skyscraper ultimately that has like a lot of offices in it and stuff. So very high traffic area, right? Lots of people, and because it's a busy part of like the city, you have a real mix of like suits, a lot of like richer, higher end people. You have a lot of people doing like work on the streets, and people doing work on the building, like and stuff. So real mix of people, right? And so I remember, I can't remember exactly what was going on, but I remember there was something kind of complicated going on with my job. So I was having to like communicate with my boss. I cannot, for the love of God, remember what it was. But I remember, so I was in this like in between building, right? And I was like leaning against a wall, and I was just on my phone texting my boss, and I was about to go to a garage, right? And this guy, never seen him before, right? Never seen this guy in my life, and I think he was like because there was a lot of regulars in this building that I recognized. But I think he looked like a contractor. He's probably doing some kind of repairs on the building or a nearby building or something. And he just came like right up to me and kind of made like a phone gesture with his hand, like he was texting the air, and was like, "Oh, you really like texting on your phone, eh?" or something like that. And he just kind of kept walking. I remember I just said, I was like, "What the hell?" Right? Like, I don't even know this guy. Like, that was really rude. I remember just saying like, "What the hell?" Like, I know what I said. I said, "What's your problem?" I remember saying, "What's your problem?" And then he like got so mad. Holy shit, he's like, "Why are you being rude?" He was like, "I was just joking." But he tried to make it like a fight. I remember he tried to like he was getting all like threatening and stuff. And I remember I wasn't having any of it because I'm not a chicken shit, but I was just not having any of it. And I was like, "Dude, I don't even know you. You just walk up to me, you're being rude as hell." And I remember the security in the area, they were like, "Oh shit, are we gonna have to do something?" Eventually he just walked on, dude. But that attitude, I remember that guy, I didn't even know him. I was minding my own business, don't even know this guy. He comes up to me, and maybe he was trying to be joking, but it easily came off as being rude. And I absolutely think he was kind of an older guy, not like super old, But as far as I interpreted it, it was kind of that typical, like, oh, you kids in your cell phones, you know, that's very much how I interpreted it. Meanwhile, I'm literally talking to my fucking boss doing my job, right? And God, that guy, he just got so defensive so fast, I remember. And he literally tried to escalate it to violence. He got like, he was just kind of like, you know, puffing up his chest and all that and trying to, you know, like threaten me and everything. And it was so stupid, dude. That was, I have so many weird stories from that job, by the way, because it was a busy part of the city I live in and just, my God. I'm glad I can talk about it now, though, because back in the day I couldn't really talk about my job. But now that I don't work there anymore, I can and just blurt shit out, and man, there's been some fun times. Like when I started there, I was expecting it to be like a very calm, easy kind of job, and it was sometimes, but so much drama from people. Anytime, you know, you're in like this city and there's lots of people, you know, hustle and bustle, man, you see some shit. Okay, let me whip out my command codes here. It's gonna take like 3 years, and as always, I click command card instead of command code because they put them right next to each other, and the profile icon for the command card looks like a command code. Surely this won't, you know, confuse anybody. Before I worked at that parking place, I worked I worked at that pizza place. That was awful. I loved the people I worked for, and I actually liked the job a lot. You know, making pizzas was actually really fun. And as for an entry-level job, I really enjoyed it. But yeah, that was awful. As I worked at the parking company, you know, and I've been working there for a long time, and things. When I first worked there, I had to deal with people a lot, but as time went on, I really didn't have to deal with people much. I liked it a lot better. You know, as I got more responsibilities and stuff, I liked the parking job more because I literally didn't have to deal with people. But yeah, when you have to deal with the public, it can be a real pain in the butt. But yeah, I remember. But the same thing when I worked at that pizza place, because when I first started there, you start off taking people's orders and stuff, and that's where most of the drama happens, because of course it does. But then as I worked there longer, then I was just, you know, doing work in the oven or making the dough or that kind of stuff, and I hardly ever had to deal with customers anymore. And then I liked it way better. The issue with that job was just the fact that I didn't get paid very well, because entry-level job. So I ended up, you know, moving on. But I actually did like that job. It was fun. Making pizzas is fun, man. Pizza dough and all that. It's a good time because there's a lot to learn, honestly. Like making the dough properly. God, I hate this UI. One of these days they're gonna fix it. Honestly, pineapple on pizza is totally fine. It is. I like it quite a bit. It's just. You can't slap it on any old pizza. If you just slap pineapple on pizza, it's not good. You've got to build a pizza with it in mind, and then it's fine. But yeah, I like pizza more having worked for a pizza place for a long time and having made it myself from scratch and everything, and knowing how everything works. And I actually appreciate pizza more than I ever did. I remember when I worked there, so many people told me it's gonna make you hate pizza, but quite the opposite happened. I liked pizza way more. You can put pineapple on pizza either way. You can either put it on and then cook it, and then some of the juices will get like absorbed by it and everything, or you can add them after. You can do it either way. I think it's fine both ways. It just depends on how you make it. But if I'm gonna make a pizza, right? If I'm gonna make like my own pizza, my first choice is probably not gonna be pineapple, right? Now, if someone tells me, "Hey, can you make a good pineapple pizza?" I can whip out some good stuff and make a pineapple pizza pretty good, right? But yeah, if I'm making one for myself or something, that's not gonna be my first pick. Maybe I'll do it every once in a while just to eat something different, but... I have no idea what I'm gonna be fighting, so just in case there's some bullshit... This is the coward command code to pick, because it does literally nothing. But just in case, it'll keep you from dying. Just in case there's charm, sleep, or stun in this fight, I'm gonna bring that. This is probably a really easy stage though, so I think I'm over-preparing, but... been a while since I've made pizza though. I'd have to get in practice again. I figure I've made some a little bit here and there, like on my own, but nothing like I used to. Is there a name for dudes for Karen? There's not really a universal one from what I've seen. Like when you look at YouTube comments and stuff, they normally, you know, just use like Kevin or Kyle or, you know, these just say male Karen or like I don't think there's any universal agreed upon thing from what I've seen. That happens a lot when like a certain thing gets prevalent. The counter to it, or the opposite, like the opposite, if it's a gender thing, the opposite gender thing, they never get a, like their name is always kind of up in the air, right? And they can't really settle on one. Sometimes that happens, but a lot of times it doesn't. But whatever made it famous is kind of always the thing that'll be prevalent. Oh, she could, no, she does stun. Well, that's still something I'd want to block, so. But that's Mary Sue is still like way more prevalent than Gary Sue. Even when people are talking about a Gary Sue, they'll a lot of times say it's a male Mary Sue, right? Like I see that all the time. I will say though, Gary Sue doesn't roll off the tongue very well. Also, Mary Sue is a saying because the character was named Mary Sue that inspired the concept, right? So that's why it's because the character was literally named Mary Sue, and so Gary Sue is not an actual character, and I guess that's part of it too. Yeah, it was like a fanfic, and it was just all the cardinal sins of a Mary Sue, right? Like just being perfect and, you know, one-upping all the original characters and, you know, having no depth or flaws and, you know, all that nonsense. And they were just named Mary Sue, so that's where it came from. I think it's a Star Trek fanfic, and so it was like a Star Trek fanfic where it had like the normal cast of Star Trek, but then it had Mary Sue inserted into it, right? So Mary Sue was just like another crew member, but then they were just miraculously super skilled and, you know, one-upping all of the actual crew members and blah 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 blah, and they were just, you know, totally generic and had no character, and they were just perfect at everything, right? So that, I think that's right. I'm not 100% sure that's quite correct. I know it's something like that though. Let's see how much damage I can do here. I should really be casting my anti-stun thing, but we'll be fine. There are just so many things that I'm not a fan of in Sword Art Online. Okay, so here's the thing. I don't even remember too well because I haven't watched Sword Art Online in a long time. But the main character is kind of a Gary Sue, but not quite as much as like what you would see sometimes. Because now, correct me if I'm wrong, but off memory, he does at least like grind an insane amount, right? Like he actually does do at least that. So it's not like completely left field. LOL, I'm perfect just cause. He at least does, you know, grind like a motherfucker. But still, he definitely is in that department, right? It was still kind of just a power fantasy. Now, I think there's room for like a power fantasy type character in a certain kinds of story, right? Like, you know, Rambo or whatever, right? But the story needs to be built around it, you know, like revenge story or whatever, like in Taken or something. You know, that's fine, but that's because it's a, you know, a short story action flick. You know, it's not trying to have a lot of depth to it. Where when you have like a franchise that has a lot of characters that do have depth to them, and there is more to it than that, it's not just a quick action flick or whatever, and then you have that one character though, then it just really stands out and it doesn't work, right? And it's just boring. But I don't think universally a main character doesn't universally always have to go through like the generic hero's journey. They don't have to start from nothing and slowly build themselves up and have ups and downs and all that stuff. That's fine. That's fine. That's a, you know, it's a fine character arc if you want to do that. I'm not saying you can't, but I don't think like all characters have to be that way, right? but you got to think about it. If you're going to have a main character that is very powerful and that kind of thing, you need to think about it, and there needs to be a reason for it. The story needs to accommodate it. The cast needs to accommodate it, right? It can't just be done just because, right? Like that doesn't work. And generally, those kinds of characters are not going to be as popular. And a lot of characters that are very popular out there have flaws. You know, humans relate to flaws big time because we're all flawed. You know, we have our ups and we have our downs. None of us are remotely perfect. And you know, you can relate a lot to a character when they have good sides and bad sides. When they just have good sides, then it just feels fake. It feels real, right? I do feel like though, like I think media in recent years has been really bad about Mary Sue's and whatnot. I do think though sometimes people hold a double standard and they call Mary Sue when it's not really applicable. But on the flip side, absolutely there are sometimes a lot of, you know, poorly written Mary Sue shenanigans out there that people rightfully don't like. Like, here's an example of like a slightly different kind of main character that doesn't have the typical hero's journey that I think worked very well. So you got Yuri from Tales of Vesperia. He is already, you know, he's a bit older than your typical like anime, you know, JRPG main character. He's already seen a lot of stuff. He's kind of already come into his own. He's already, you know, seen things, figured himself out. He's already got himself sorted. He does not go through the hero's journey. He does not change much, right? He, you know, he's already pretty comfortable in his own shoes, right? But the story uses that well because it has a lot of cast around him that aren't in that position, and so he plays off of them well, and he gives them advice, and some, you know, and not all the other characters, you know, even need his advice because you have other characters that are also kind of already, you know, finished with their journey, if you will. But it's mostly about like, you know, how, you know, he interacts with the party member and showing his perspective, and then just like how that interacts with the, you know, the actual story that's taking place. And that works pretty well, right? So again, he doesn't really learn. There's no like moral of the story from him. He doesn't really learn anything as he goes through it. You know, again, he was pretty much already matured, if you will. But it's that works again because the cast was kind of built around that. The story was built around that. You know, the conflict with his best friend and everything is a big part of it. So the story is still interesting and works in my opinion, even though he doesn't go through the hero's journey at all. Now some of the other characters go, even though they're not the main characters, some of the other characters kind of do go through the hero's journey. And so that's kind of, you know, why it works. But, you know, mixing up your main character or your main cast is fine. I don't think you need to always do the, you know, generic shit by any means. But just being, you know, perfect LOL, that's not great. And at least, like with Yuri in Tales of Vesperia, although he doesn't learn a lot in terms of like his own perspective and that kind of thing, he doesn't start off as like super overpowered and he just beats everybody, right? That's, you know, he's, you know, pretty confident fighter at the beginning, but he's, you know, like, oh my god, I can conquer the world here. Overlord, is that game where you have like all the little minions? It's kind of like evil Pikmin. I remember that one. That's a pretty under the radar game, but that was pretty unique. You literally play an evil overlord and you're expanding your empire basically. I'll be right back. I need to get water, and then we might go fight the dragon some, and then we might play some NA. Because, this event, man. I always am saddened when I see somebody say Gilgamesh is a Mary Sue, because that is such a fundamental misunderstanding of what a Mary Sue is. That's like saying anyone that's powerful is a Mary Sue, and that's ridiculous. Because Gilgamesh, although is ridiculously powerful, first off, is generally an antagonist, not a protagonist, so your barometer is completely different. He is not randomly powerful. He's powerful for a very good reason, because he's the oldest legend in human history, and within that actual real-world legend had collected all treasures from the globe, and in a universe where treasures and items are really powerful, of course, like, it's just, like, that's just a logical chain here. You know, Mary Sue is just LOL, I'm some random person, and I'm hilariously overpowered just because I'm the main character. Gilgamesh, one, isn't the main character, and two, is very powerful for a very specific and universe, in-universe reason, a very logical in-universe reason. He's not just like, LOL, I'm Bob, and for some reason I'm this strong, right? Like, that, if someone had the powers of Gilgamesh and it was just Bob, that would be a problem. But that's not what Gilgamesh is. And he actually has a very, you know, complex character. He's not just a one-trick pony, LOL, I'm really powerful, right? Like, that's just, some people think that's what he is, but that's nonsense. Hey, Arjuna. Alright, let's go fight the dragon. Let's use Ku. We'll do Ku first. We'll do Lancers against the dragon. If you're on my friends list, or you want to send me an invite to test out a Lancer, put your Lancer in the all slot. And we'll see what we get. So again, if you want to use a Lancer against the big boy dragon, put it in your all slot, not the Lancer slot. Either send me an invite, or if you're already on my list, just put it there. So we did Canis last stream, but now we're going to test a bunch of different Lancers. We're not going to... Well, if someone gets really clearly scuffed on RNG, we might give them a second try or two, right? But we're going to try to mix up the units a lot here. My Canis technically got the best run, but ultimately I don't think my Canis is really better. If anything, I think Zoologist is probably better, but it's hard to say. When they both had a good run, they'll get to about the same health, ultimately. Alright, let me set up Ku. Oh my god, this is the wrong UI again. And then I hit the back button too many times, because I don't want to fucking listen to Da Vinci. Yeah, we'll use her again. I think we said we'd use her again, because that was not a good run. Like, on many levels, it was not a good run. Do I give Ku healing? If it buys him one turn, absolutely, and if it doesn't, no. It's hard. That's a hard call. What do we slot? This is tough. If I want to go heal, I need to go heal boost on Quick, and then heal on the actual heal on Buster. I mean, it could buy me a turn, it could, but if it doesn't, it's absolutely not worth it. Let's go without the heal, and I'll see if I feel like... By the time I get down to where I would die, I could potentially have got like a 4k heal in that time. I want to see if that's enough to mean anything. I think I'll go with crit damage then. Now, if I was really trying to do my best, I would use Burn command code and use the Yang CE, but we're not going to do that today. No Yang CE today, but in future we may do some Yang CE stuff. Wait, can't I do the dragon one? Yeah, I could do the dragon one. That's just 5% more. What even is the prediction? I can't see it. I swear, if it's Ku's gonna win or not, he obviously can't. You have to be really stupid to bet on Ku winning here. The dragon is a Saber and has 1.2 million health. The only way he can win is if he gets an insta-death proc, which is possible because it's happened before, but it is so incredibly unlikely. Yeah, anyone voting yes is literally hoping for an insta-death, and we know, having done this so many times, that the odds of that happening are just abysmal. My mouse got like stuck there, that was annoying. Need George, there we go. Then we need a Rosh. God, I have to change all the command codes again. I need more presets. I guess Shingong's fine. He's got less health than George, so. Alright, off we go. See, what would have been a more interesting vote, in my opinion, is guessing the range in which Ku would have gotten to, right? Like, will he go into the 800k range, this, you know, 700k range, 600k range, 900k range? That would have been an interesting thing there. Well, I guess you can only bet on 2 outcomes, so. Terrible opening hand. Good start. You only need 10% NP gain though over the 3 turns. Are you kidding me? Really, game? This is what we're doing right now. Like, I only need 10% over 3 fucking turns, and this is what we're looking at right now. Hope I get something next turn. This is not ideal. 2% in 2 turns. It's a 1% per turn average. Fantastic. Actually, you need 9% because of the roundup. You need 9 fucking percent. This is so annoying because now in the final turn, well, I'm going to put my Merlin command. This is like the worst outcome other than not getting my NP. Because if I was going to use the art card, I would have preferred to have used it on any other turn but this one, because then the cooldown would be back by the time I would need to use it, most likely. There's a chance I would get it if I did art and then quick, and then if the quick got some of the overkill bonus, because you get overkill when you're not actually getting overkill because this game is stupid, but I'm not going to risk that, so... Very unlikely that I would have gotten my NP there if I had done what I said there. I'm telling you, don't vote for Ku to win. There's way too much health on a Saber ball. Like, there's no fucking way. The only way is insta-death, and that is beyond a pipe dream. I should be ready to ult F4 though anytime I use a character that has insta-death, because it has happened before. One time we've insta-killed this dragon. But in case it ever happens again, I don't want to lose the stage forever, so... Or win the stage and thus lose the stage forever. Literally every time I NP, I'm just gonna put my hand on the button. Okay, we're good. Even with the, I almost said it. Good try, Zaw. I almost said it. Even with the, thing, the Yang CE actually, and I'm getting so, somehow I've conflated the Yang CE has gotten mixed in with the Canis nonsense. That's what's running everything. Anyway, yeah, if I use the Yang CE, he could get farther, but I still don't think there's any way he would win. There's so much life here. What's the play? Kind of a boring... See? Fuck this game. If I had gotten that art card in any other hand, or I'd never gotten it at all and just gotten double quick, the Merlin command code would be off cooldown right now, and I could just stupid, man. Okay, I'm actually gonna do this then, and the next turn we'll go hard on the NP game. Well, that was lucky. That NP damage is more than Medea. That's pretty sad considering we're being counterclassed, but you know, Medea's got AoE and this, that, and the other. This is the last turn of my attack buff. I'm actually gonna do that. Besides, 30-30-30 is an okay chance of at least one crit. That didn't happen though. The one crit would have been pretty awesome there with the attack buff, and I would have gotten my NP too. Damn it! Oh my god! Seriously, if the quick or the art, oh my god, that hurts. That's cause that means I don't get my quick chain as soon, and now I'm gonna overcharge really hard. So that was pretty unfortunate. 30-10-40 though, decent chance of getting a crit again. Of course not. So that kind of oof on the getting our NP in time is because of the terrible RNG with our taunts at the start there. This NP won't be as good because we don't have the attack buff. Also, if I could have NP'd sooner like we were about to have done, I could have NP'd and still had the defense down from the previous NP, and that would have been swell. That's not good. Are you kidding me? That's stupid. We're gonna have to give, I think, Ku one more round here, because that's just nonsense. This is one of the rare times, because we died so fast there, that Atlas was wrong. Because yes, I'm going to cast the skills one more time, but I could have cast them one more time without Atlas, so I'm not going to get a third cast out of them, so Atlas was actually bad here. That's mostly though because we just died so fast because we got crit so much. However, there is a world where, because of the way this fight is, that maybe a default is better, and you do heal boost, so the heal boost can land on your third skill, your command code, and your heal from the Mystic code, and that might ultimately be better. This is very unfortunate right now, though. We're gonna get our big attack up, though. This is gonna hurt Ku's value a lot, because basically, if we didn't die quite that fast, not only would I live longer, but I'd be able to like maximize my damage while at low health with my first skill. And I could generally you can cast it again. Or I'm not going to be able to do that. Yeah, literally Atlas is going to do nothing. Like it's going to do absolutely nothing here. So that's abnormal. Even against Saber, that's abnormal. Normally you can get value out of it. If I consistently am not able to get value out of it though, I will switch to default. But what I'll do is I'll try Q one more time, but then I'll just use Q from time to time on the dragon. I'm not going to use him 10 times in a row here until I figure it out. We'll kind of just figure it out as time goes on. Let's see. A lot of tempting stuff here. Didn't crit with the 90. Kind of a noob. Well, I don't die this turn. There's a slight chance I live next turn, so I'm gonna use my heal now. I have one PFA left. If somehow he only hits us once and it doesn't crit, and we still have the defense up, we might actually live here, and then we get to cast our skills again, and then we get really big value, because then Atlas doesn't go to waste. That's not particularly likely, though. We're decently likely to die here. I'll grab the heal though. Maybe we can take 2 hits if they low roll. I don't think so though. If I had been using a healing command code though throughout the... Oh boy, at least it wasn't the... Oh! Don't crit! Don't crit! Don't crit! Don't crit! Feels good, man. So if he had triple attack... Actually, we might have lived. If he low rolled again, we might have lived. That's, wasn't bad. The RNG there wasn't that nearly as big as I was thinking it was. If he had triple attack, though, we would have died. And also, if that crit had been the second attack instead of the first attack, we would have died. Well, that kind of makes up for the wonkiness at the start. So this was going to be a pretty decent run. Maybe not necessarily the best ever that he could possibly get, but it's certainly good. And I'm ready to kill the app in case he insta-kills. 51k. If I could NP again and still have that big attack up and have the defense down from that NP, we could do slightly more damage than that. Although we might low roll and actually do less, but it has the potential to do more. Let's go for it. His hit count is so low though. Also, he's gonna NP me. It makes more sense to use the attack up on the crits than going for another NP ultimately. If he had just a slightly higher hit count, like if he just hit, if his attacks hit twice, I would go for it. But his attacks only hit once, and he buffs a lot too. So I don't think it's worth going for. I think we do that. So yeah, if someone asks, if Bergblurg asks what's the best CE for Luvia, it very much depends on what you're doing. If you're fighting a boss with a high hit count, Black Grail. If you got trash mobs to deal with and stuff, but they're not threatening trash mobs, you have a lot of build-up time, then sometimes still Black Grail. But if it's like, boom, boss fight, you gotta go, 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 or last man standing, then yeah, Painting Summer a lot of times is good. Painting Summer is the safe bet. If you're not sure what to give her, Painting Summer is the way to go. Okay, I'm lowering my damage by casting this, but it gives me a slight chance of living another turn, because again, we've got the defense buff, and you know, he might buff a lot, but we're probably going to die this turn. Go for the crits. You know, you never know. 30, 30, 40. Might get something. There we go. If I somehow live this turn, we're gonna make it into the 500k range. Wow! If he had just buffed once, we would have lived there. That's crazy, and we made it into the 500k range. Yeah, I would have done Buster, NP Buster there, and we made it into the 500k range. That is ridiculous, by the way. Cool, boys. Kind of good. Alright, so I feel like if you get really lucky, you can make it farther than that. I'll try to get a really good run for like the record later. I don't think Zerp's here right now, so let me keep track of this stuff. Let me bring up my notepad and everything. I'll send it to him so he doesn't have to go through the VOD and deal with all that. Let's see. That is Paint. That is not Notepad. Okay, it is Siku, level 100, 2k foe, Golden Sumo, level 100, got to 611k. I'll put the 763 too if he cares. Let's see, any other information that's important? Level 100, 2k foe, Golden Sumo level 100. I think that's fine. Okay. Wait, is Zerp here? I am here? Never mind then. I'm doing this for nothing, I suppose. Just in case, it's still good if I document it, if needed. So, although you don't have to like keep up with it as you go, right, if you're busy. Alright, who next? Fish with the bin K, okay. Looking like basically nobody here actually wanting to test out Lancers. Feels bad. Well, that was short-lived. Feel like FGO's dying, man. It's rough. Well, I can test my Lancers. I have a few. I can do Scath. She's not as upgraded as Ku, although she's still, you know, what you would expect out of a 5-star. She's in really good shape, so she can still do well. Let me give her command codes. If we use Ben K, we're going to use an actual Ben K and unironically see how far he can get. Which, by the way, is probably not very far, but I actually think he'll get a bit farther than... Most people think he's going to like do no damage whatsoever, but he'll do some, especially if he lands the stun. I'll probably give her a pretty similar setup to Ku here. Maybe even the exact same one, honestly. Man, if Ku just didn't get triple attacked on that last turn and we had gotten one more, that would have been a really satisfying run right there. Like, seeing Ku get to the 500k range, that's something. I could point out, Ku, although is single target, has done better than a lot of neutral class AoE people, and right? Because you know, yes, they're AoE, but they're neutral, which is so much stronger than being counter class. Don't think he does better than any archer though, really, outside of maybe like Nobukatsu or something. But who's trash because of bad NP gain? But please tell me you're not talking about Luvia. Like, please don't be talking about Luvia. I can't handle that level of stupidity right now. Scath? Okay, that's still stupid, but that's not nearly as stupid, but it is still stupid. I mean, Scath is super good. You get her NP gets so much done. That's why her NP... She is balanced because she doesn't have super good NP gain. If she had super good NP gain, it'd be stupid. And she's still kind of, like, a bit busted anyway. Like, she's kind of nutty. Like, she has a guaranteed stun that completely ignores, you know, magic resist and goddess essence and all that nonsense. And then a niche that comes up all the time and does just some of the highest damage anybody can. And then you have, there's a million support. Like, there are so many battery supports that don't even care what the unit's NP gain is, and you can NP with them a bunch of times anyway. If you're doing, like, Scatty, you know, Waver and all that kind of stuff, you can NP. Yeah, you can't NP as much as unit that refunds themselves. But you don't need to because you're hitting so hard and you're fucking stunning the boss. Like, she is nonsense. She's such a nonsense unit. Yeah, she's not the best Lancer in the entire game. Sure. Like, she's not. But she's still very, very good in solo, in team play, and last man standing. Those are the 3 areas she's applicable. Sure, she's not god tier for farming. But why the fuck would you be using a single target unit like her for farming anyway? And she's not even the worst for farming, though, because she's got the team buff and she does have the battery now and stuff. Sometimes that actually works out with K-Scope and everything, so she actually does have use. She has some, for a single target unit, she's more useful for farming than one might expect. Not the best, but she's decent at farming. And then she's amazing at solo. Not the best, but still very, very, very good. And then she's very good at last man standing, and she's very good in team play. There's basically, that's a great unit, right? That's so many circumstances where she performs very well. There is just no world where she is bad. Now, there are worlds where she's maybe not as good as some of her competition, like, you know, in Kidu and all that, but where are the Georges at? Might need to jump on my ult real fast to slot mine. There we go. That's true. For farming raids are normally like farming but for single target instead of AoE, and she is definitely good there. Like, no question. Here we go. Probably Atlas for her. Should be fine. One of these days, I'll... We talking about Ben K? Actually, we were talking about Ben K a second ago. Okay, oh my god, exactly the same as Ku. Didn't Ku get no... I'm pretty sure Ku got 0 cards in the opening hand. And he only got Buster cards in the second one. Trying to use Lancers against a Saber game. Is this really the time to be making it worse? Like, we don't need another handicap. It took me a long time to get Scath on my main account because I like Scath, but I don't like her enough to really prioritize rolling on her, and I normally stockpile. But eventually I threw a little bit at her, and like that recent rate up she had, and that's how I eventually got her. But it fucking took like 5 years. She'd gotten so many rate ups in that time, and I skipped every single one of them, and I at least threw a little bit at her and got her to MP2. And now maybe I'll get spooked by her in GSSR, then she's in P3, and that'd be nice. Still really suffering on the MP gain, but it's probably good enough. I mean, Scath, I wouldn't want to say is arrogant, I would say she's confident, but she should be. She's pretty powerful, so, I mean, she's no pushover. The main thing that makes me kind of there's two big things I'm kind of on with Scath. You know, I don't mind the character, I like Celtic stuff and Irish stuff, but the two things is, one, I don't like how they kind of artificially made her more powerful than she really should be. And they just did that because, you know, waifu points, and so they took things away from other legends and gave it to her just because they wanted her to be more important. And that doesn't make me, like, hate the character, but that's kind of dumb, and that's kind of lame, and, you know, I would have preferred, you know, Fionn get the whole immortal tied to the land thing that he's supposed to have, right? That was just kind of lazy on their part. But that doesn't make me hate the character, but that's kind of a bit of a black mark. And then also, she has the personality of a dead fish, because, you know, she's got the whole immortal syndrome, you know, which, yeah, the reason she acts like a dead fish is reasonable, but it's still pretty boring, right? She's not the most interesting. She has an interesting backstory, she has some interesting abilities, and she has, like, an interesting role in, like, the story and everything, but she has the personality of a dead fish, right? And that's, you know, not exactly the most hype thing ever. You know, every once in a while, you know, her kind of old personality shines through with her, like, you know, really enjoying combat and that kind of thing. But for the most part, she acts like a dead fish, and that's just kind of dull. But I don't mind her though. She's still fine. I still think she's a decent enough character. I just wish they kind of had, you know, made it a little bit better. I will try to do Genshin later. The only reason that I might not is just because, you know, I'm having massive breathing and sleeping problems, and I don't exactly feel like $1 million right now, so that would be the one hold up. I feel this is going exactly like Coup, where I kind of need to do my art card to make sure I get my NP. We can get over. Nah, I should just use it. Oh my god, why? This is exactly the same as Coup. This is exactly the same as Coup. That we just could not get any NP gain because we got no cards. It's not like, oh, the unit doesn't have good NP gain. That's not the problem. You only need 10%. Actually, you need 9%. That's nothing. It's just we never got any fucking cards until the third hand, and then we got a bunch of cards. But then our command code goes on cooldown, and everything sucks. But at least we can make some stars, I guess. She's gonna be in the same boat where that cooldown is gonna matter too. She's gonna quick, and then want an art card. It's said that when Scath was like not, you know, wanting to die because she's been alive too long, she acted a lot like Bazette. That's what they say. Which is funny because when you look at how Bazette acts and then how Scath acts, they have almost nothing in common, but that would be the dead fish. Okay, well, this doesn't do anything, but I'm gonna cast it just cause. Definitely not going to evade right now. The next turn, I would want to like Art Buster Quick, or Art Buster Buster, or Art Quick based on where the Star Gen goes. But the Merlin command code's not going to work because it's on cooldown now. That actually probably hurts her even more than Coup, because her survivability is tied to her NP. Because every time she NPs, she's stunned. Coup just gets damage. And yeah, damage is important. But yeah, she definitely cares more about NP gain than Coup does. So her having the Merlin command code, I'm just gonna reset actually, that's bullshit. Like that hurts her so much. And literally if I gotten that card on any turn except the third turn, or if I just got NP gain on any turn except the third turn, like it's so unlikely to be in that situation. And it's off by 1 turn. I didn't throw it all, I played perfectly, it's just RNG's a bitch. I have a feeling I'm not gonna be able to play Genshin today. It sucks. I really want to, but I am mentally just exhausted. Like because I've been having such problems sleeping. I mean, my head feels awful. So I do feel better today than I did yesterday. So at least there's that. But we'll see. Sometimes when I take a quick break, right, you can kind of recoup it. Oh my God! What the? This 3 times in a row. 3 times in a row we've had this hand. It's great. Anyway, sometimes, you know, it's like it hurts to concentrate, right? When you're sleep deprived, it hurts to concentrate, which is where I'm at right now. But sometimes if I take a break for a bit, you know, you recoup a bit and you can kind of get back to it. It just depends. But I should probably do it tomorrow, I feel like. Is there anything don't spoil anything, but is there any I know nothing about the event. I didn't like look into the patch in advance. Is there anything about the event that is like daily that I need to do today or I won't be able to do it ever? This fucking game. This fucking game. That's insane. That's insane. You need 9 NP gain every 3 days? Okay, that's fine then. I need 9 NP gain. Even on a unit like Scath, that is not a big deal. And again, I don't even mind getting my art card, it's just not on the 3rd hand. You can give it to me on any... Okay, this chat is why I keep my friends list small, and I'm telling you, the next time I have to make a video, I'm going to remove like 20 fucking people. Like it is so hard to summon specific things when you have a friends list this big. It's so obnoxious. Oh man. Come on, give me the cards. At least that's something. That's better than that would only be awful if I had no one else who got an art card. But thankfully someone else got an art card, so I can get NP off of it. It's fine. It's not great, but it's good enough. Still no Luvia. Feels bad, man. Yeah, I think a lot of people would actually rather have Luvia than Reigns, honestly. Luvia's pretty popular these days. Fury knows what's up. Okay, pretty shitty MP game, but it should be enough. I like how we're still just getting 1 card though. Rosh gets all these cards. If I just get like a quick card, I'm good here. Good enough. Actually, my Buster card would work too. But I'm gonna do quick because I want Starjin. I'm sure there are all people out there though that really do want Reigns and don't care about Luvia. I suspect Luvia probably is the more desired of the 2 overall. I don't know though. Reigns is decently popular. Might be kind of close. I think the thing is, it's kind of close, but Luvia is so powerful gameplay-wise. Alright, no evade. Thank goodness it is impossible for her not to stun. Oh, Grad's off. We're good. I was ready to ult F4 and kill, It's so funny that Samsung Dex works with Alt F4, by the way, but I'm glad it does. It's kind of simple, because Flow doesn't, I'm pretty sure. I don't think you can do Alt F4 in Flow. Although, I don't know if I ever tried. You don't normally use the mouse for Flow, you still use the phone. Okay, maximum NP gain is what's important here, and that would be this. 180, 90. Come on, triple crit. Let's go. Damn it. Damn it. That just hurts. Especially because the dragon's in PE. Dude, if that hit crit, I don't know. I don't think it would have been quite enough. We need 9% more. I don't think it would have been quite enough, but it might have worked. If only the dragon had a higher hit count, it wouldn't be so bad. But unfortunately, the dragon's hit count is utter trash. Taking that 30% over the guaranteed dragon damage, I may regret that. But look, I regretted that. She is already almost dead. Oh boy. Yeah, he didn't buff. Now, when we had evade, that was good that he didn't buff. But right there, that was not good. What happened to Q on that last turn? He was so close to living too. Now this time I'll have my battery if I'm a bit short. The crits aren't as good though. More damage at least. But the art card is basically, well, 40%, you know, it could happen. Nope, Dream is dead. Man, that one just made so much less that it probably won't even work with the battery unless he crits me. So both times, oh my god, fuck you, dragon. Both times I could have NP'd right there. But, oh my god. I honestly, I think it would have been more likely to... the first one was more likely to not NP right there than to NP. But on that one, because I had the battery, I think it was actually, I was favored to actually get my NP there. But the crit spread just didn't work out, and then the dragon didn't attack. Damn it. You know, I'm hoping he's going to attack me a lot here, because maybe I should have worked in my art card just to be... Okay, we're good. And this guy. So, we could have gotten like one more NP in, and if the dragon had attacked less on that one turn that we were vulnerable, we could probably live to get this evade one more time, and then we would die. But we could have done a bit better than we're doing right here. Not like way better, but we could have gotten a chunk farther for sure. I'll have to run her again at some point. She definitely can get a bit better than that. Mainly on that one turn where we had battery, we definitely could have NP'd again there. Sadly, there's just no way we're going to live to get our evade skill here. 2 turns off, so damage is what we care about now. Still, not bad. I mean, most Lancers are just going to get crushed here, so this is really not a bad performance at all. Totally reasonable. You could probably make it into the high 700k range, though. Like, not far into 700k, but she could probably make it, maybe. Either that or at least low 800. Kind of depends. There is some wonk there, just because she needed 2 turns, and we could really only have guaranteed 1, but we could potentially have gotten another turn from not getting attacked so much. Well, you got all Month Fury, so if you roll any, you could probably get enough. So if you can probably get it if you still want to. Alright, Scath, level 90, NP2, Golden Sumo 100, made it to 877-254. Okay. Not bad, like not bad. We could do Enkidu next. I'll check if we've got anybody on our list here that's actually gonna slot anything, but pretty much everyone on my friends list here doesn't either want to try a Lancer or just isn't in chat right now, so yeah, we got a whole lot of nothing. I guess it is Enkidu next then. He is more upgraded than Scath is, not by a massive amount. They're both level 90 and everything, but he's got a higher NP rank. Yes, but because you like him a lot, Fury, so if you get a dupe of him, you're not going to be mad, so... Yeah, it seems like a good idea. And hey, maybe you get spooked by another 5-star you haven't... This is the wrong UI! How many freaking times? I don't want to go through the command code UI. I don't blame you. I do want to test out Karna and Ereshkigal here sometime. Next time Beastly's here, we'll do that. I think we have tested them before, but we weren't keeping track back then, so I'm doing stuff again, kind of update the list. Okay, Enkidu is so different than them. Let me think. He's probably the most disadvantaged here because the enemy having a low hit count is not only really bad for him. Although the hit count part hurts Scath the most, but the enemy doing that much normal card damage is definitely the worst for Enkidu because Enkidu doesn't have as many turns of I cannot take damage here. Scath has the stun and evade, where Enkidu has just the evade and the heal, but the heal is a lot less effective when the enemy is doing that much damage. I think we use the heal boost anyway. I just don't know if I don't know if I use a heal, like regular heal command code. Sometimes it can be fun to watch movies or anime or what have you that isn't up your alley, right? Because it can affirm your, like, okay, I don't like this because of this, right? And you can see it, right? And it's just gonna be interesting to just, see different sides of, storytelling and whatnot that you don't normally focus on. It also, though, can be a colossal waste of your time, too. There's also that. Have any of you all ever watched an episode of anime or a movie or a TV show or whatever, and maybe you watched it because of your family or a friend, or you went to a movie theater and you thought it would be good or something, and then when it was over, you regretted it immensely, and you're like, that is a chunk of my life that I'll never get back. Like, it wasn't so bad that it was good, right? It wasn't like that. It wasn't so bad that you could make fun of it. It was just blah, right? It was like blah, and you don't even have anything to talk about. He's just like, I just wasted a chunk of my life, and I never get it back. A lot feels bad, several times. I never saw Black Panther, to be honest. I don't actually watch very many Marvel movies. I've enjoyed some of them. Like, I've watched a few. If I do watch them, I normally watch them once they're like not in theaters. I almost never watch anything in theaters anyway, because you can get sick that way, and I cared about that before COVID. Generally, when I get sick, I get so sick because of my sinus problems that I avoid it like the plague. So it's really hard to get me to go to a movie theater anyway. And if I don't super like it, it's just not going to happen. But yeah, occasionally I'll watch a few Marvel movies. They're all right sometimes, but I never watched Black Panther. Okay, I'm really conflicted on how to slot his stuff here. This is a tough one. I'm gonna try giving him the heal command code. This might be a real mistake because it's so much less effective when you're fighting a Saber. Normally you don't have to worry about that because you're not supposed to use Lancers against Sabers, but here we are. There's a lot of options here. There's just crit damage, there's Star Bomb. I guess we'll go with Star Bomb. I don't know about this lineup though. I don't know. This might be a waste. Like, it might be better just focus on damage and utility and just forget the healing stuff. Oh wait, no, it's my unit. What am I doing? Oh yeah, I got spooked by Enkidu again. I forgot about that. That was on stream too. I got MP4. Totally forgot about that. Good times, good times. I tell you, man, I've used one summon ticket. I've used one summon ticket on one Enkidu raid up. And I have MP4 Enkidu. I'm not complaining because I really like Enkidu, and so I'm glad that I put basically no resource into obtaining him, and I basically just gotten him for free at a ludicrously high NP rank. Now, it's obviously taken many years, right? I've been playing the game for a long time to get Enkidu to that point, but it's just really lucky to have been spooked by him that many times over the years and got him to that high of an NP rank. Like, I've actually gunned for Mordred, right? And Mordred took, although I finally got her to NP5, but one of those copies is from the guaranteed 5-star. You could pick your 5-star ticket. I picked Mordred, right? So even though I've been gunning for Mordred, you know, she's just NP5, and that's with the help of the ticket. And Enkidu didn't get the ticket, and he's at NP4. So it's like, okay then. And then most of my ult accounts have Enkidu too. Actually, I think all of my ult accounts have Enkidu. I even have them on NA, for God's sakes, as I think I do. I just get them all the time. It's okay. So I got the Merlin command code, but I got it on turn 1, so it'll be back by the time I need it, so that's fine. If you're going to have to use it early like that, that's the best turn to do it on. And the second turn's fine too, it's just the third one that's not. I think, I've never gotten a single unregistered Spirit Origin ever on any of my accounts. I'm playing this game for years and years, never gotten one. I think I get, do I get one if I get spooked by Mordred, though, now that she's NP5? Because Mordred is my only NP5 5-star on my main account. Only one. So if I ever get spooked by her, I think I get one. I'd have to be spooked by her, though, 10 times. I'd have to be spooked by her 10 times to hit a safety net. I'm never getting spooked by Mordred 10 times, right? That's worst fucking safety net ever. It's not even a safety net. That is literally not what it is. It is a spend like $9,000 on this game to get a 5-star that you want. That's not a safety net. Like, anyone that thinks that's a safety net is a fucking moron. You can quote me on that. Like, if somebody actually thinks unregistered Spirit Origin is a safety net, they are a moron. That's just stupid. Imagine having to roll 10 5-stars, same 5-star, to get one copy. Like, good God, like that's just ridiculous. Okay, I want Stargen, but I don't necessarily want to waste that heal. However, if I was going to waste it, now would be the time to waste it. Let me think. What's the first turn of the dragon going to be? It's going to be like NP... I'd want to do heal boost, so I'd want to heal on the next turn then. Unless I evaded right there. I probably would evade right there. Then I'd want to... Okay, it's okay if I use it. I'm pretty sure the timing works out. I'll go for overkill too. It would have been ideal if I could have used it last turn, just to be safe, but it should be fine. I'm telling you, it's literally not even designed to be a safety net. Unregistered Spirit Origin is designed for the Leviathan of the Leviathans to be able to just come in and grab like that one thing if they want to, right? Like that's what it's designed for. Okay, now what's the play here? I don't need to heal this turn, so I don't need to heal boost until next turn. I've got 80% crit though on that Buster, which is very tempting. I think I actually, normally I work at some quick cards, because critting is nice, but because we got the art up and we got the Merlin thing, I think we do this, and then next turn we do all of our quick cards, and then the turn after that we heal. Please land that 80% crit. Yeah, Buster up, defense down, first card Buster bonus. Please give me the crit. Don't pull a Hans on me. 67k. Yeah, there we go. I'll take a 22 on a Saber. That ain't bad. I don't even know that guy, so I'm not gonna like you know, comment on that because I don't know if he was joking or not. Some people said he was joking. I literally have no idea who that is. But I saw that guy said that the game had a safety net. But yeah, I don't know if he was serious. What I saw, it sounded like he was serious because he was saying the guy wasn't doing his research, but he might have been sarcastic. I don't know. I didn't see the context. Again, I don't know that guy, so. But if he does legitimately think that, then that is stupid. Like that's just dumb. But who knows? He may have been joking. Definitely gonna. Okay, this should work. We have calculated this correctly. Because the next turn, I mean, I'm not sure because I don't know the guy, and then with the way he was interacting with the guy in his chat, I would say he wasn't, but in the greater context of things that I don't have, then maybe he was. So that's why I'm like, I don't know. Okay, we want a heal boost. I think I just quick again, honestly. Yeah, I'm not like gonna do any damage with my crits, but I think that's fine. Because then I can crit again next turn when we can potentially get another buster thing going. I don't mind making a bunch of stars. Look at him triple attacking. Why you gotta be like this? Do I heal? If I heal here, that means healing earlier was wasted. Let me think. I can evade. I can technically heal again. I think I need to be lower in health when I use my third skill. The fight's not going to go long enough for me to use my third skill twice. So when I use it, I need to get a bit more value out of it than that. So I'm gonna try. I guess I do this. Doing the art again because now it's got a crit chance and the Merlin command code is back and I got the art up, so it's so tempting there. I kind of gotta grab it. Nice. I like how now I want him to attack, and now he's buffing. At least we have two. Now, it is very risky. What do I do here? Not healing here is very risky. I mean, it's not crazy if we live here, because it is better value if I don't heal here and I happen to live. That's very good value. That's where you're going to get your pinnacle performance. However, if you want to just get a decent performance and like make it to the 800k range, right? You just heal here, and then you invulnerability on the NP turn, right? But I'm gonna be greedy, and we're gonna go big. If he just doesn't kill me this turn, it's so good for me. Like, it's so good for me. The thing is, Nikitu would have made it pretty far, even if I didn't do that, so I don't know if I really needed to. Okay, good start. We have crit down. I think we're fine. Whew, okay. Oh, that's fun. Now imagine if this was an archer, because then our health is so much more effective, right? Like if we were neutral, our health would be more effective, and if we were counterclassing, then it's really being more effective. What's the play here? I can do any play I want and get my NP. So do I want damage, star gen? What do I want? I guess it's either quick, or it's buster, quick. I think we do buster, quick. There's 80% chance to crit. I mean, that's what the stars are for. You can probably see why Enkidu is completely broken when the enemy is divine. Because if you're working in stuns during this nonsense, it's just stupid. And when people compare him to Scath, people are like, oh, but Scath does better against divine too, so they're equal. No, because Enkidu just gains an ungodly amount of value when the enemy is divine. Scath gains value too, absolutely, and her nuking power becomes so strong. But Enkidu's survivability just becomes so absolutely dumb when the enemy has divinity that it favors him. Like, he gains way more from the enemy being divine than she does. With the exception of boss fights that are all about burst damage. And there are some boss fights that are all about burst damage. However, Enkidu has a lot of burst damage inherently, so if he has enough to meet that threshold, then it still favors him. But that won't always happen, clearly. I want to apply heal boost here, because we're probably going to need to heal next turn. Do I go for that 80% Buster crit, or do I go for NP gain? I think we'll go for NP gain. Because again, Merlin is back. Hey, Ari, what's up? You fucking dweeb. I mean, what? 36 months, by the way. Wait, Fury is right. Oh, no, you. I don't even want to know what you're talking about now, Fury. I scrolled up a little bit, and I'm like, I'm going to stay out of this conversation. I made that decision real fast. Okay, I can heal myself, I can double heal boost, and hopefully that'll buy me one more turn. Then I can evade. By the way, this is disgusting, right? This is what I'm talking about. This is why, you know, he's doing well here. And if they had divinity, I mean, seriously, I think he could solo this if this dragon was divine. I'm serious. I'm pretty sure he could solo this if this dragon was divine. That's why, like, Ku's amazing and everything, and Ku looks like he can make it to, like, the 500k range if he gets a good run. And that's very impressive. But there's no world where he keeps up with Enkidu when the boss is divine. No way. Like, absolutely no way. And then, although sometimes it just depends, there's so much apples and oranges with Ku and Enkidu. Like, Ku has more rapid debuff clear and things like that. And Ku's got lots of turns of guaranteed survival, where like Enkidu has to use his health bar some. So they've got different pros and cons. But then Enkidu's got more burst damage than Ku by a lot. When they're not divine, it sometimes favors Ku, but it sometimes favors Enkidu. I think it favors Ku a little bit more often than it favors Enkidu, but it's close. They're so close. When it's not divine, they are very like competitive with each other. And it's a little apples and oranges, right? It kind of depends a bit on the style of fight. But when it's divine, it's a blowout. When the enemy is divine, and I have to stress this, there are more enemies that are divine than there are archers in the game, right? Like, there's so many freaking things that are divine. So anytime they're divine, it is such a blowout in Enkidu's favor that I think overall Enkidu is more useful, I would say. However, Ku is also a 3-star that anybody can get, and is a lot more accessible and that kind of thing, and he still keeps up to a degree for sure, but Enkidu really is a monster when it again, team play, last man standing, solo, he's good in all of them. The only thing he's not good in, I would say, is farming, really, even if you are doing single target stuff, because he has no battery on his own at all. Although if you have enough battery from your supports, he's got the damage, so. Oh yeah, Kaya's probably going to come back in the shop at some point. But yeah, I'm pretty excited to get Benny. I could be getting him C2, because I could have bought him in the past and I just didn't. At least I get him at C1. Yeah, no, and Cadis does keep up. You know, she's a step behind generally in Enkidu and Ku, but she keeps up. You know, she's not like getting blown out of the water. And yeah, she's never been buffed. So if she could get a buff, she could definitely become a pretty competitive unit for her. And she's easy to use in team play. I will say, people act like Ku is bad in team play. He absolutely is not. But it is really easy to use Canis in team play. Although, weirdly enough, some people think that's not the case. But alright, I gotta heal. It's very important. I think we quick chain. Do boom, boom, boom. We'll heal for 2,000 here, which means we should not die. The only way we die is if he crits and like triple attacks. Or double crits, that'll kill me too. I don't have crit down right now. I get it back next turn, so as long as I don't die this turn, we can keep going for a bit. Oh my god. Oh my god. He triple attacked. What an... Thankfully, we survived a triple attack, but fuck this guy. Alright, we're about out of gas here then. We could have potentially face tanked another turn if he had buffed a lot there and stuff. We could have maybe gotten one more turn out of our health bar. Do I take the Buster crit now, or do I want the stars for the next turn to do like the most burst damage I can? I think I take the crit now. I mean, that's still good damage right here, so don't pass it up. I don't know though, Quick Chain does give you a 3 of a kind bonus, and it basically guarantees you getting a Buster crit next turn, where now our odds of critting next turn are super random. And critting next turn is bigger because we would have the defense down and the Buster up. I think we landed. Am I wrong? Didn't we land the art up every single time? And it's fine, you know, we've gotten plenty of value out of doing the art card instead. But I think we landed the art up every single time. So this is the only. We normally have been doing Art Buster because of the Merlin command code coming off cooldown, but we're gonna die now, so we don't need the NP gain. We do have the art up, but it's only got a 20% chance to crit, so I think I take the 80. I'm gonna go 80-80. By the way, Enkidu is kind of a monster unit. It's because he applies defense down before damage, man. It's such a nutty thing on a unit like him. Alright, I think that's, we're dead here unless he triple buffs. So, okay, there we go. 649! That is quite good. Let me write all this down here. Okay, Enkidu, level 90, NP4. Golden Sumo 100, 6, 4, 9, and what? 6, 6, 7. Okay. So between the three there, Ku did the best, but Ku is level 100. However, that's kind of fair though, because Ku's a 3-star, and it's so much easier to get a 3-star super maxed out compared to a 5-star. But still. So Ku made it to 611, although Ku could have gotten better. Ku could have definitely gotten one more turn. All three of them, I think, did not get their best run by any means, but Ku could have easily gotten another turn, and it would have been an NP turn, so Ku could have made it into the 500k range. Skaz made it to 877, however, she could have gone a bit better too, and I think she could have made it maybe to about 800k. I'm not sure if she would have made it to the 700k range, but she could have made it to about 800k. And then Enkidu made it to 649 there. That was one of his better runs. I don't think that was his absolute best, but that was one of his better runs. I think he could only maybe, at least my Enkidu, would only make it to like maybe 620 at best. I don't think I could have gotten that much more out of him. Maybe a little bit, but not too much more. So Scath is definitely behind, but this is almost exactly what I would have expected to have seen, to be honest. But Scath can make it a bit farther than she did. Yeah, and Enkidu kept up with Ku. He wasn't way behind. He was only 36k behind or something. I already forgot the numbers, but I think it was like 30 some odd k behind. However, when you are being counterclassed, 30k is a bit more than it sounds like. Like, it really is. 30k when you're fighting a Saber as a Lancer is a bit more than it typically would be. But yeah, he definitely keeps up. Like, no question. And again, not even with Divinity. And that's why when they have Divinity, it's just a blowout. Alright, Ari, do you got any Lancers you want to test? Like, what's your strongest Lancer? Because we haven't actually been able to test that many so far. I'd like to test at least one or two more here. What was Canis' best run? I forgot. Wait, we have the document. I can do the command here and get the URL. I'm so glad we made that a command. It's so helpful. Let's see. I like how she's in the AoE Lancers, though. She's definitely going to be dominant there forever. Yeah, I thought she made it farther than that. It looks like she made it to 963. I swear she made it farther than... Wait, no, that's Romulus. Wait, do we not have Canis on here yet? Oh shit, I don't think I have Canis on here yet. Damn it. What, does anyone remember what she made it to? Because we used her so many times, I'm sure one of those runs made it decently far. Might have to check my, my VOD yesterday. It's right there. Am I blind? I see Raiko, Taiga, Romulus. That's it. I don't see. Like I see Romulus. I don't see Canis. Am I crazy? People are saying it's here, but I don't see it. Yeah, I think you're out of your mind. I don't think, I know I'm tired, but I swear I'm not that tired. Carmilla. Is she under, did he put her under ST? Because she kind of is ST? Is that what it was? So we have two sections for AoE Lancer. When you click AoE Lancer on the side, it doesn't actually take you there, right? It takes you to the Romulus part. That's why I didn't see it. When you scroll down, it is there. I see it now. But if you click the AoE Lancer, it takes you to the Romulus part up above. So it's just, they're not in the right spots. Okay, so she made it to 763. I mean, look, how does that compare to what we just did? 763. So, wow, she did better than Scath. Now, Scath, though, is level 90, and Canis is level 100. But Canis is AoE, and also 5 stars are more likely to be, you know, lower MP rank and all that. But still, if Scath was upgraded more, I don't think Canis would win. You'd probably be pretty close to each other actually at that point. Like they'd be really close to each other. But yeah, no, she keeps up still well. She is behind Enkidu and Ku, but not light years behind there. We'll have to do more Canis as time goes on, though. We'll have to give her a few more runs here and there, because we can probably get a little bit better. Because I know Zaz could have gotten one more turn, and I'm curious how much damage she would have gotten in that one turn. Have you tried Fionn? We have not. That'll be a catastrophe. And we'll only be really able to compare him to things. If we use Fionn, then we have to also use Melt and like more normal AoE Lancers, right? Because that's what he's in competition with. Because he's gonna look so bad compared to single target kind of stuff. Like it'll be super rough. But we will use him. We'll have a time where we use all the typical AoE people and see how they do. If someone's got like a kind of a normal melt, a Lancer melt, we'll do it, right? If we have like a level 80, preferably a level 81 with a high MP rank, because that's what I have for Fionn. We have not tested her again, but oh, there she is. I said I hadn't seen her yet. I was gonna do her again, but I hadn't seen her yet. Yeah, okay, we'll do her again because I said we'd do her again yesterday, so it's only fair. And she had such a bad run yesterday. She can definitely do better. What am I looking for? Oh yeah, Arash. That's the thing. Alright, the hood will protect us. I think she wants default. Does she, though? It depends. I'll try Atlas. If she can go around the wheel, it's worth it. Because she'll die really quick without her skills. I'm gonna be right back. I need to get water again. I'm going through it like a madman.
Dewa, 本日の戦闘を始めましょう。
I wonder how Hector will do when compared to, like for like. He's obviously not even close in the running with like Ku and Canis and all that. But like how he would compare to Romulus like regular 3-star Romulus and even Fionn and stuff. I'm curious about that. This is so brutal though for low stars that are AoE and or Lancer. Like that is just cruel. They'll die in like 2 turns and stuff. Okay. But they'll all do bad together, so the one that does slightly less bad will be noteworthy to a degree. Excuse me, I'm eating a very crunchy granola bar, so you might hear some of that. Man's gotta eat though. Unnecessary art chain, but I'll take it. Wait, what was our start? What was our in? How? What? How do we not have our MP right now? We art chained. Did I not bring an on death CE? I'm so confused right now. Like obviously we can get it because we got our art card again, but I'm so confused. How did we? Does she have Black Grail? I don't think she does. I'm so confused why we don't have our MP right now. We're about to get it anyway, but it's the Suzuka goes in CE. How? What? I don't understand then. Now I'm not using my unit, so we have less NP charge on death. So we need 15 NP instead of 9. But that shouldn't. When we art chained, that's 20. I'm really confused right now. See, Zaw, I share the sentiment though, Zaw. It's I know think so good right now. I feel like I messed up one of the CEs on the taunt wall or something. Because yeah, if we were missing an MP charge on death, that makes sense. Pretty sure we click all of the buttons. Yeah, I like that on 2. You don't click all the buttons on turn 1. Although it can be fun to like just dump everything and then try to get it back as fast as possible. Like, it's fun to do both. But I like when you have to think about when to use your skills, but some units it's just like, it's really obvious. All 3 skills have so much synergy together, and you've got your NP. It's like the optimal thing to just use it all. Oh, she's got faux paws, nice. Alright, let's see if we can do better than last time. I'm pretty confident we will. We needed to crit 1 time there. If we could have crit 1 time, I could have looped. The only way we would loop is if he double crits me right now. Okay, that's not happening. Do I go for a few stars just cuz? Yeah, I think we do. Should get our NP, and then we have Stargent up, so maybe it gives us a crit next turn. She is such a basket case, but that's kind of the point. She's not like evil psycho at all. It's an actual condition some people have. It's where they're really bad at like understanding human emotions and like regulating their own emotions. That's pretty much what's going on with her. She does not display the appropriate emotion for the moment. Okay, I could actually die right now, so I think we have vulnerability. The rough part is I'm gonna have to NP here without any of my skills, and they're gonna come back. I might switch to default then. I think a lot of her skills would come back by the time I got the next NP anyway. Yeah, her mat. Oh my god, her mat. There's a crit. It's kind of too late though. The crit means a lot more when you got the art up and the NP gain up. Yeah, she's solid. She's a totally solid unit. She's kind of like Karna, where she gets the job done. She's good for killing bosses, but she's not like, you know, breaking the game or, you know, revolutionizing anything. Okay, I'm gonna be risky here and try to face tank this turn because the value is really good if I do. I'm gonna use the baby heal because maybe it's enough to save me, you never know. No, buff, buff, buff! She just can't get a break, man. So if I had brought default, we would have lived there, by the way. Let me try that again. I just want, if we could have gotten that one turn off, we'd had all of our buffs and would have had the evade, and then we might have even NP'd again because she has a chance of looping. She's not like super likely to loop there, but she can. Keo Lancer will do so badly here. If someone has one and wants to show it off, I will try it, but well, there's a really nice Karna, but let's stick with what we're doing right now. We do want to test Karna out though at some point. I want to test out Karna and a Reshigal. Yeah, both Keos would have a pretty bad time here. Berserker Keo would do better though. If Berserker Keo got lucky, and she was able to get maybe a turn or two out of her defense buff, she'll at least do a nice chunk of damage while she's alive. Where her Lance herself won't do anything, and she'll die immediately, so. Okay, something is wrong here, and I know what it is. I know now why our NP gain was so messed up. Neither of them have on Death CEs. They have the event CEs on. That's why they have starting NP. It's because we were doing event stages and I wanted some of the event bonus, that's why. Well, at least I figured it out. On the plus side, we're getting a good opening hand. You know what's sad? These last two hands, like these last two runs, have been so good for getting NP game on our unit, and we haven't even been getting death from our units dying. That we could have had an NP that had no starting NP on it. Because George would have given us 20% right there, and then Shingon would give us 15. And look, another art chain. So yeah, I think both of these runs, we could have done the rare thing where we could have 0 starting NP, had a really long-term value CE, and still gotten our NP in time. But you know, if we switch this CE, and we put on the on-death effects like we're supposed to have, we won't get hands like this again. No way. This was just like stupid lucky. Because look, we're gonna go over 100% here, and that's with our guys not giving us charge on death. I think we have another turn right here where we're gonna get NP again. And look, she could get a bunch here. So we could have done Black Grail or, you know, Formal Craft. Formal Craft would have been really good if it was level 100. If only we were getting event bonus. I'm using all this AP fighting the dragon and not doing the event. But the event sucks, so I mean, what do you want from me? Alright, let's see if we can finally get a good run for her. She deserves some justice here. Alright, if we get a crit, we can probably loop. But it's 30-30. Not great. 49k though. Come on, come on, yes. Oh, now we're talking. This is looking like a good run now, as long as we don't get like, destroyed. Get that crit down. We're not gonna get melted, hopefully. The hood, bless. I have no idea if I'm using her with the hood or not, but if I'm not, I should. Wow, double crit. We don't have our MP gain buff anymore, so it's not as helpful, but still. It's a good run so far, nothing I can complain about. Although, if he could buff one time, that would be excellent. He's actually attacked 6 times in a row. So, there's that. Because we were critting though, I'll be able to use my skills next turn. Not the attack up, unfortunately, but I'm gonna have to just deal with it. I thought about using the Arjuna command code for the heal in the stars, but I figured might as well take a crit chance, so. Her extra attack is pretty cool, by the way. I think she has some of the better welfare animations. They didn't completely phone it in. The only bad thing about doing what I'm doing right now is this is not a pinnacle run. Because I am not waiting for this skill. Because if I did wait for this skill, I could potentially NP again next turn. Now that's unlikely to happen even with the third skill. But it could happen, right? I guess if we double crit here though, it could happen anyway. Oh yeah, I don't know what the level of the CE is. I'll have to check. Wow. Well then, never mind. I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. This is probably about the best run she's gonna get. Now, you could technically get the exact same run we're getting now, and maybe just have crit an extra time or two, or gotten a high roll, because I doubt we've high rolled every NP. So if you kept grinding this and doing it over and over, you could probably get a bit farther than we're getting. But this is a pretty damn good run. I almost want to Buster NP Buster, because I don't think I'm going to NP again. However, there's a chance that I could art, and then like he doesn't quite kill me here, but then I still don't think I'd get my NP. However, we have a 50% chance to crit. This is tricky. I'm gonna go this one because of the faux pas. Also, if it does get that 10% crit, it's so good. And if this is worse than Buster and Buster if I don't crit, but if I do crit, this is better. Nice. Okay. Whoo, okay, well, maybe I could have gotten another NP there, actually. But we were so likely to die there. I think overall we made the right play. Okay, we got some crit chances here, though. Come on, give us like 2 crits before we exit the stage here. 60, 40, 60. We are favored to crit twice. Triple crit though. I'm okay with this. Okay, this was a pretty damn good run for her, I would say. Alright, 8, 7, 8. That is not too bad, not too shabby. Obviously, you need to get a little lucky for that to happen, but that's kind of what we're gunning for everybody. Okay, let's see. I don't know her CE level, but see, she was level 100, NP5. She's a welfare, so it's a given, but we'll write it down anyway. What was the... Goes in CE? I'll look up the name of it later. I'll look don't know what its level was. I'll check in a second. So I'll put a question mark. And 8, 7, 8, 840. There we go. Wait, I think I clicked something wrong there. I did. There's a random 9 in there that shouldn't be. Okay. Not too shabby. She did almost exactly the same as Scath, actually. She did just ever so slightly worse. She's more upgraded than Scath, but again, Scath is a 5-star and blah, blah, blah. Although I do think Scath could have had a slightly better run and gotten a little bit farther, where that was about as good as we were going to get there. Okay, so I should probably wrap up, because I'm exhausted. Although I am really enjoying this, and I would like to do more of these. But I'm out of AP, and I really am pooped. So I will take a break for now. Probably no Genshin today, unfortunately, just because I'm so beat. I don't know. I might, I'm gonna take a break, and if I feel a bit better, you know, my head's not bothering me, and I feel like I can concentrate, I'll play Genshin for a little bit. Because people keep saying the event's cool, and I don't even know what it is. So I wouldn't mind jumping on Genshin and just checking the event out. You know, maybe just play for 30 minutes even, right? So I'm gonna take a quick break, and maybe we come back for a very short Genshin stream, but it'll be very short. It's like the Cube event. Interesting. All right, boys. I will see you all potentially tomorrow. If I get good sleep, I'll definitely stream tomorrow, hopefully. And I guess we're out of costumes now for the event, so we might play some NA tomorrow. We will see. Anyway, later.